Okay, guys. Hey, sorry for disappointing on this one. As you can tell, I'm in RFK Junior mode, so I will not be able to. I would be able to. It would be distracting and probably not very good, and I don't know how long I could talk at length. So I'm going to let Conway take this one over, actually, and we're going to
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
I've taken
something.
over.
Yeah.
I've fully taken over because we played Pathfinder to exorcise our demons, but tonight
Yes.
they're coming out.
Yeah. Yes.
I am
So
here to do full on Pathfinder apologia for as long as it takes.
yeah.
To talk about spheres of power as well for as
Right
long as
on.
it takes.
Yeah.
We will talk about all the things as long as Tyler doesn't have to roleplay 20 NPCs at the same time and crater his voice for like the next 2 weeks, basically. We are
Yes.
trying to avoid that so we can roleplay again next week.
And I have to be at work tomorrow too.
Yay!
So yeah, hopefully going forward, I will be able to not be in a smoky cigar lounge for 12 hours a day. So look forward to that. Look forward to hopefully having more time to make videos in general.
Maybe you should like bring a gas mask to work. Like
Yeah.
as a joke, it's like, well, I've been here for 9 hours. I'll do the rest with the gas mask on.
Sometimes that's how it feels.
There is an interesting role playing game tidbit there, though, right? Because some days you're just not up for it, and
Right.
Yeah.
you shouldn't let that completely like rob the game for you, right? You should
There,
definitely.
there are times in the past where I would have tried to force a session like today, where it's like, oh, I feel fine, I want to play, and I do want to play. It fucking sucks, as Nicholas mentioned earlier. This game is cursed, but it's half cursed and more. We know when to not run the session. You know how
Yeah.
many of the it's been a few of the actual plays we've looked at where the people actually come and comment and they're like, "Oh yeah, we were having an off day. It's a day we shouldn't have played a game, let alone recorded one." And yeah, there are days like that, and it's absolutely fine to. I see. I can already tell that's about as long as a sentence I can get out without stopping.
And that's the thing when you it's 4 hours of your day and it's also the prep time, so it's difficult to let go, as well
Right.
as the responsibility towards 3 or 4 other people that
That's
make the
exactly it.
time to
I
show
I
up.
hate disappointing you guys. So, but we can at least have this.
Yeah.
Now, spheres of power. Moving on to the meat and potatoes of it. Um, just at a cursory glance, because I was curious, I can find basically no actual plays of this. It's all theory craft, cool builds, character conversions,
Who is
that sort of stuff.
playing? Is anyone playing? And do they show it on video?
There,
Oh,
there is a. I need to Google this and find the name, but there is a fairly famous campaign AP, right?
let me find
That
it.
they have Adventure Path, as we call it in Pathfinder, which is like a high, a long campaign basically. They do
Okay.
have a very famous one which takes place entirely in a school of magic. It's kind of like Hogwarts
Hmm.
themed, give or take. And I think that's one of the strengths of it, right? If you're gonna do like a special system that's all about magic, then have it take place in a magical school. And I think that you might be able to find actual plays of that particular thing. I'll need to look it up. But for Spheres itself, it lives in the Pathfinder underbelly, as many third-party systems often do.
Right.
And I mean, specifically, the reason why I want to talk about Pathfinder is because we complain about a lot of things in Pathfinder when it comes to playing it and role playing. But the one thing that we always keep falling back to and having issues with is the magic, right? It's like, oh, I have to
Yeah.
cast my daze spells. We at least have good terms to make the magic work, right? I can very quickly fortitude save, DC 13,
Right.
dazed if fail, right?
Right.
Those like 5 seconds that it took to say that are not gonna break anyone's immersion too much, I hope.
Especially when you're right back into a really cool description of whatever spell it is, like blackthorn vines rising out of the ground, wrapping around your enemy's feet or whatever.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard when I played last session. I got to able to taunt the Drake. I grappled it. I had a stunning fist strike, did a flurry of blows, and struck it with my longsword. Those are
Yep.
5 widely different attacks, and I was able to do it
Right.
all without talking mechanics.
Yeah. And, with magic, because sometimes something, what's the word for it? Something that's hard to visualize or conceptualize because and I think that's one of the cool things about fantasy, but it is hard to represent without talking about it, is the like, how do you show a thing that's not real in the game? You have to be a little more
Right.
detailed because it's not something where your brain is going to fill in the details on something that's not real, right? So,
Oh yeah, that is a good point, right? Because a lot of what we use to play a role-playing game is knowledge of the real world that translates directly over because we're
Right.
running the thing in our brains.
right.
But you can't do that for certain concepts in sci-fi or fantasy. And I think that games would be better designed if you could, right? Like, I think like even a child would understand that. Yeah, like if you put water on the fire goes out, right?
Right.
You think a system that takes that in mind would be very interesting to play through. Now, spheres is not. It isn't really that much better in that aspect because you still need to communicate mechanical terms because it is of course made for Pathfinder, so it's made to be like balanced, that kind of thing. But it offers a wholly different approach to magic than your usual Vancian casting. It is much more concept based, separated into like the titular spheres. And I think it's really cool to do it, and it's really cool to make like whatever type of character you want. But that is like the interesting aspect of spheres for me. You would still need to communicate as we do for like cantrips and spells. Though. Thankfully, not as much as some spells out there,
Oh gosh,
Massive.
the worst ones are the ones where it's like, well, if they have 15 hit die or less, then this happens. If they have 10 hit die or less, then this happens. If they have 5 hit die or less, like Damnation, I think is one like that where it's a really cool spell, but it's like just tell me one thing. Just the save's massive. Why do I need to know about what?
I'm sorry, but I need to pause the game and read this
You're right.
paragraph spell script for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my visualization of it, and that's one of the things that we do a lot in the 4D community is just try it out,
Right.
A lot of people like talking a big game, but they don't really put
They don't play it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mentioned is I think it would be cool to have any actual play of this out there, see how it, actually plays out as the name suggests.
Yeah, can you roleplay it? Right. And I was thinking of the idea of calling it can you roleplay magic. Because if you're going Spheres of Power, then we're gonna go all in. Everyone's gonna play a caster.
Okay, cool.
Which is interesting because in our game, we are basically playing everyone as a marshal, right? So I can do that with casters as well. Mm-hmm. Now, that is the first thesis that I want to explore. It's spheres, right? The second thesis is how do you best approach a system like this? This is something that you can say both the Spheres of Power, but also the Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach this monolith, right? Like it's famous. Eniaka. Because I think I have an answer, right? And it's not going to be a very good answer, but it is one answer. What do you think about this, Tyler? How would you approach Pathfinder today in the day in which you didn't know anything about it?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I have to like wipe my memory of. It's a tricky question to answer. So let's assume I still started with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and the timeline diverged, and I just either kept playing AD&D and got disillusioned with 5e and 4e whenever they came out. So I never played Pathfinder 3.5.
Yeah.
I would probably, the first time I look up anything, right? And when you are looking up, how to fix something on a car in the modern day, or pretty much like you want to do anything, it's like, how do I do this? You look up a video, you look up a guide on how to do it. You don't immediately go into the owner's manual. because the owner's manual is going to tell. I just need to know how to change my alternator, right? Just tell me how to make a character, tell me how to just start getting into it. Why should I play the thing? Well, let's presume I already want to play the thing. I'm already invested in it, I'm interested in it. In that case, I'm going to start looking up guides so that I can cut through the chaff, right? Because
Right.
Pathfinder's got a 600-page core rulebook, and most of those pages are things that I don't necessarily need off of the top of my head, right? It's going to be like, I don't need to know how to change my oil right now. Why are you telling me how to change my oil? I just need to know how to change the alternator. That's all I need right now. So,
and it's even worse for Pathfinder today, because you're probably using the wiki today, right? And if you are, then you're not just looking at the core rulebook. You're looking
Which
at
is it's a cool
hundreds of
part.
books.
It has all the pictures. Fucking awesome to look at the actual rulebook compared to the wiki. I feel like what is it? I mean, it's very much like, oh, I'm just looking for tables and numbers when I look at the wiki. I don't feel like this is a real world with real people and I'm building a real character.
Let me give you the second one on that note, because that's a really good point as well. We often joke about the coffee table art book RPGs, but I think art's phenomenal. I think you can say a lot with a picture of what you're trying to depict rather than just description. Yeah, exactly. However, on the other end of that, this means that if you have bad art, then it makes, even if it's really cool on paper, if the description is awesome, if the art sucks, then a lot of the times it's like, oh, I don't want to play that.
That's the part when you open the rule book and it's like, it's a tiefling with purple hair and
the awful Paizo. Pathfinder 2nd Edition does have some great artwork in it, but for some reason there are like purple bearded dwarves and
and I looked at those for what kind of dwarves would be in the continent I want to place my dwarf at, and it's very much very alien to dwarven culture. And on one hand, I see it as they want to give more options to the players, but also every time you do that, you lose a part of the identity of the core identity of the race itself. Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah, well, especially when you already had Pathfinder 1st Edition, and say you have a living character that has gone through Galarian being the way it was, and then all of a sudden the art direction makes a massive shift, and you're like, well, hang on, that's not how I was playing that. And to Paizo's credit, they've said, whatever you do at your table is what you do at your table. We can't change what you do there.
That would be a cool premise to play in a game, though. You are a character from a previous edition, and like suddenly the world is different. Like
that could be
kind of deal. Like you shift into another reality.
That would be based. Role-playing a generational shift, right? Would it be. Okay, you were an 80s guy, but it's the 2010s now. Bitch, deal with it. Like people taking selfies, talking with their weird English, like, hey, I'm risking up my girl over here. It's like, what are you talking about? You're courting her, right? That's what you're doing? You're courting her? There's interesting ways to role-play that even in the fantasy setting, because I assume they without this like international jargon, like exchanging with lots of different cultures, it's can be much more localized. But you can have like, okay, I'm this super isolationist farmer, right? Like in this village called Belhaim, and he visits the big city. And in the big city, everyone is always looking for a deal, trying to sell the wheat, trying to get a better price on his beer, always looking for ways to, like, for an angle to save money, because so many people are kind of gullible and like when I think of the classic Farmer's Boys, you just accept what the other people say as the truth, because why would anyone lie to you?
Exactly. I mean, that is an interesting point. I love games where like the whole theme of the game changes, where you actually get a lot of times in fantasy stories you will get like prophecies that the world's gonna end, and then it just never happens. And then in one game, I remember playing a game where there was nuclear war, and we continued after it. It changed the whole campaign. It changed the whole paradigm. And that's super cool, right? You can do that kind of thing with your stories. And this is gonna sound like very, very naive, but when I first played Skyrim, it's like, oh, there's a certain point in the game where you need to go back in time for a quest or whatever. It's like, oh, do I get to explore Skyrim again in the past? It was like a super naive moment, right? They just make like two worlds for me to explore.
Wouldn't that have been cool?
Wouldn't that have been cool, right? This is something that can actually do in a role-playing game. Like, what if nuclear war happens and now you're not just a soldier in the military? I mean, you just survive, right?
Yeah.
What if the world wound actually keeps expanding forever and the world is lost to demons? That's super cool, right? But besides
cool.
the whole tangent, right?
Yeah.
I do like, if you want to finish the points, Omar.
Yeah, the part that I find very cool is being able to roleplay that shift. That's why I like the idea of role-playing through time skips. So, okay, what if we play our characters but a year has passed and things have happened? Because you can't go on an adventure every day, like for a whole year, like 300 adventures a year. At some point, you take a break. Or
Right.
you have to take a break, or you got a grievous wound and it has to heal naturally. Otherwise, the scarring is gonna be like horrendously disfiguring you if you don't put the brakes on at some point.
Well, all
So-
you need is 8 hours. So.
Yeah, and that's and that speaking of why deal with all of the nonsense of Pathfinder First Edition, well, because there's nonsense in every game, right? Like the fact of the matter is there's pretty much no game out there where you're going to have zero complaints of it, because they're abstractions, they're all models.
It's a meme like, he who has created the perfect RPG cast the first stone.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And the things like that where if you like try to sleep off a wound, especially at by pretty severe wounds, it's not gonna be an overnight thing. You're gonna be out of commission for like a week if you're on pretty low health by like 3rd or 4th level. And the higher and higher level you get, the more of a beating you can take. Well, the longer your downtime is going to get too. Your body you might get more hit points, but you don't magically gain a regenerative factor, right? You still heal at the normal rate and recover at the normal rate. So,
And God forbid you have an ability to score damage or
oh,
negative levels.
Oh, God.
yeah,
Yeah.
then if you have a
Remove my
cleric,
progression.
yeah.
Before we go back into talking about spheres, just the thing is, like,
Easy
the
to
take
say
in 1
sucks,
week,
but-
that can be a cool moment to role play. Why I'm saying this, because I know gamers who have like, well, it's super greedy to in order to fully heal, you gotta take a full month. But people who play these games, they don't role play. They're just, okay, let's just do the time skip.
Let's just skip a
They
month,
skip.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's virtually
Like they all
not
look like
there.
skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's virtually
Yeah.
the rule
Skip.
virtually does not exist. But
Yeah.
imagine like you in a dungeon, like miles away from the nearest village, and
Yeah.
having to survive.
Yeah.
That'll
That's
be
literally
a cool
a Robinson Crusoe thing to roleplay, right?
This was
Lost in
legit
Thunder.
Strax,
Yeah.
wasn't it? We had
Yeah, we played a whole 5v campaign with like no long resting. That was insane.
Okay, boss, we need like a week to recover. You got 5 days to move out. Boss, what the fuck? Like, I'm the chieftain, I make the rules. You got your 5 days. Lick your wounds and get out there.
That must be the first time in history that you got a whole 5v campaign with 0 long rests. Not even 0 long rests. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And-
And that gave such a, like, the first time I saw role playing out being wounded and trying to scrape by still. Like, being part of the game that, yeah, we are wounded. No, we don't have, like, oh, just cast Cure Wounds, Lizard. Like, you, Druid, just heal my wounds, man. Like, no. Well, I got some good berries, and what do you guys do? I mean, I eat all of them and shove them into your mouth.
Well, it was like towards the beginning of this campaign. The what was it? The ghoul that hit Shair. The whole group immediately went, we're not going any further. We don't know what the hell that thing did. Like, we're gonna go find somebody to fix this first, because
Yeah.
there's enough to know that the characters knew enough to know that it was bad. That didn't know exactly what would happen, but knew enough to be like, no, yeah, we're not just gonna slap a bandage on that and move on.
And I like the contrast because I was playing Talash as a hard ass. Like, he's seen much worse wounds. Why do we care about this undead creature scratching you a bit? And you had to convince Talash, like, no, this is a supernatural wound. Like, there might be a curse attached to it that made Talash. Well, I guess the temple is literally right outside. It doesn't hurt to check in. Because he has the worker mentality of the work has to get finished first. If you're hurting, that's not good enough of a reason to stop.
Yeah, imagine role playing this, right? Because
Yeah.
I think what people would have said, well, that's boring. Don't you want to risk more? When you were low in HP and you go to the next dungeon room, you're risking. It's interesting in a mechanical. No, just role play your character. That is inherently more interesting because it creates story. It's not just numbers on a sheet of paper that you can just play like in a computer game.
Because also taking the time to leave is a risk as well. You don't know what what all the NPCs and the other denizens of the net. You at that point knew there were at least at some point kobolds in these tunnels. You knew the place was unstable. Somebody could have definitely made the point like, well, what if that's what if they cave in more by the time we're down here? What if they, said, time might be of the essence. We don't know. So, it's
small things like a couple of roguish figures in the village are like, oh, the adventuring party is done with the dungeon. Let's hop in and steal whatever valuables they leave behind while they visit the temple.
Yeah.
And we go back in there. We find like dead or dying bodies bleeding out, stuck in the trap.
Yeah. And I mean, that is part of the system of Pathfinder as well, right? And I think it all circles back to it, because to me, what Pathfinder is that like amazing house. Like it's in the cul-de-sac. You want to have it, right? Great place to be in. Amazing neighbors. Like you just love everything about this house. Like three stories, perfect house. You got the money, you buy it, and you go inside. The electric is all fucked up. There's a mold growing everywhere. That's the thing with Pathfinder, right? You don't want to throw away the whole house. You want to just fix a few things here and there. I think that's something that me and Tyler have been trying to do for a long time. But what do I mean by like the house is still good even though there's like deep flaws within, right? Pathfinder offers you a lot of systems that will help you a lot with your role-playing games. Because to my mind, and this is why I prefer gritty, more granular games than non-granular. That is because you actually have the book helping you. Nowadays, there's a lot of push for it to be rulings, not rules, as in there are no rules in the book. But the GM is supposed to make a ruling on the spot. But then you realize that, I made this ruling. Now the players expect this out of this situation. So now I need to write this rule down. So it gives me the work of having to write it down. And if I don't write it down, the person, wait, hang on. Last time that I tried to suplex a kobold, something different happened. And now something else happened. Like,
we're using strength plus dex. Like, hang on, wait. So my character has suddenly become worse at wrestling in between sessions, or even in between moments in the same session. And likewise, I'm biased because I write for a living. But something we always say is, if you have an important meeting with your boss, never go straight to the phone call. Always write notes down first. Because you can look at what you're about to say and go, does that make sense? Is that going to be misinterpreted this way? Should it really be only a +2, so a plus 10% in this swing? Or should it be more? Should it be less? Should it be a plus at all? That is where, the game designers and the crunch of the game can really come in handy of, ideally, and not always, of course, sometimes, and a lot of it will come down to personal preference. Sometimes the game designers will come up with something where the numbers just don't make sense, or you disagree with their opinion on what they
Sure.
should be. But they have had the advantage of time. They have had the advantage of being able to look at the thing and say, so in addition to, yes, it's consistent, it is this ruling, we know what it is. Two, you have the advantage of, well, we had a bit more than 5 seconds to think about it, right? And what one last thing, because the tea is helping me temporarily here.
The power of the tea.
When you have a lot of different systems, I think people get caught up in thinking you have to use all of them, right? Because it was something that that I talk about fairly frequently, and it's something I kind of butt heads with some of the other 4D guys. It's like, dude, the core rulebook is like 600 pages, and I'm like, yeah, when are you using 400 of them? If you're playing a wizard, you don't need to know what the barbarian, fighter, rogue, ranger, cleric, you don't need to know
Yes.
what all of those can do. You've just cut yourself 200 pages of reading. You don't have to read all of that, right? So I think people get scared by page count. They get scared by big walls of text. And it's like, no, it's fine. And you can use some techniques like, Shair wanted to look at, binding a djinn or an elemental. And I'm like, I know there are rules for that, but I don't remember what they are.
Look at that.
Okay,
This-
let's we'll find a stopping point, and I'll read up on the rules for that for next session, because he's telegraphed that he wants it to be a thing that happens now.
That's a great thing of being able to telegraph what you're trying to do with your
Right.
character, so you have time for the next session to look into it. What would make sense? Are there rules for this or not? What would be interesting or thematic to happen? What would make it like a fantasy game? Well, calling for Jin is very fantastical. I like it, but there needs to be a ritual. Maybe there needs to be an object like an oil lamp. Maybe a Jin needs to inhabit these lands. Maybe it's abandoned. The people that answer might be a dryad instead, because it's the natural spirit attached to the land, or an undying, like some water creature. All those things, and now you got your imagination sparking again.
Exactly. It sparks the imagination, and it also actually gives you support for what you want to do. Because if I buy a book, I want to have support. I don't want to just be told to make up a ruling on like how you summon a djinn if the character is a djinn summoner, right?
I already know about djinn, and I know djinn are cool, right? Like, I don't need you to give me the flavor bit so much. I want you to give me the crunch behind the flavor, because
the flavor can come up with, but not the numbers. Like I don't have in the 5 seconds I don't have the time to run the number.
And I can't remember who said it, but somebody said something like, "Oh, there's this idea that if you don't prep it, it's less real when it happens." I agree, except when it comes to mechanics. When you have the GM fiat hand waving of like, yeah, sure, it's a +1, +2, whatever.
Right.
There is an element, and this will be, your mileage may vary, but I agree with Conway on the like, no, if my gun is a 9mm handgun, that's a real thing. It's got a real stat sheet. The physics work that way, right? And your game should sort of be that. It should sort of be the physics engine for the world, where it's like, we need to have consistency. Otherwise, we get goofy stuff like, I think in Apocalypse World, you can have, a 9mm handgun that at short range, as long as you're within its range increment, is doing more damage than a 308 rifle, because the rifle's range increment is medium and not short.
I do want to illustrate this point. Have you ever seen the BattleTech, the role-playing game? It's like the sister book to the A Time of War table part. They have one of those rules that makes no sense. I've seen it in a YouTube play where they use a rocket launcher instead of a sniper rifle to take out the guard, because the damage is the exact same. It doesn't make a difference. It's the exact same effects. One of them goes off. It's like, Well, wouldn't
Can
the
I be a
sniper
little bit
rifle
of
be more appropriate? But I don't have it. I got this rocket launcher. It does the same job, so.
Can I play a little bit of the devil's advocate here? I agree with you. It doesn't make any sense, but if you're role playing, you can it can remedy that, because who in the right mind would shoot a bazooka indoors, But yeah, I agree. Like,
Yeah.
the world should be consistent to what it's trying to achieve, right?
Well, that's the thing,
Unless-
right? Like, you shoot the weapon at a car that has same armor stats and hit points,
Right.
but sniper rifle would be just as effective as the bazooka. There was no stats variation in there.
It can remedy some things for sure, Nicholas, but like getting to Conway's granular point, I'm the gun autist that is going to ruin all of your games like Easy D6 by going, oh, I start loading hollow points instead of round nose. Oh, there's no rule for that? Well, GM, make up something on the fly within the engine of Easy D6. Uh-oh. When you're only running with D6, all of a sudden you have to make big incremental changes. With a D20, you can make a 5% change one direction or the other. That's pretty granular, right?
The hollow points is just flavor to make the scene cool and make you look like, oh, you're a cool gun nerd, like you're a cool gunslinger.
Yeah.
But it's the player knowledge that aids you in being a cool gunslinger, not the rules.
Exactly.
You can't roleplay Shadowrun, and I don't need to be a cool gunslinger player, but I can roleplay one because I got the rules for, oh, cool, I can use this ammo and that sniper rifle, and I have these attachments, which gives me these bonuses.
Yeah.
So now I can roleplay a competent gunslinger. Like, I got the gun for the job. Don't worry about it.
And likewise with Shadowrun, sorry, I'm interrupting you, Nick. But likewise with Shadowrun, it's kind of the same thing where it's like, oh, wow, you got this dizzying array of ammo types. And it's like, well, okay, then just use the normal one. There's nothing forced. Like, you can always do less. Doing more is the hard part. Creating from nothing is the hard part. You can always cut away.
That's exactly the thing, though, right? A lot of people say, well, but if you keep adding more and more systems, if you keep making it more and more granular, the game is going to be unplayable. Yeah. And I'm going to say, no, the game is easier to play if you have more content for you to look at. Because here's the secret. Here's like the secret, like golden rule that you remember. You need to know the whole system.
Right.
Right? You don't need to know about like the 7 different types of ammo. You don't need to know about every single combat maneuver.
We were literally talking before the stream how I had this spell book, and I was thinking like, oh well, only Conway's character Philippe would actually use it, and then he goes, oh, I'm playing an archetype where I can't even learn spells from spell books, and I went, oh. We played 7 or 8 sessions of this so far,
7,
and it literally hasn't come up. Like, it's just not relevant to me as a GM. It's not information I need to hold in my head, right? It's
most of it isn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. You need to know the core rule mechanic. You need to know the basics of combat, right?
Yeah.
But beyond those two, you really don't need to know every rule in the rulebook. When someone tries to grapple, make something up real quick for the moment. And at the end of the session, be like, guys, I didn't remember the grappling rules. I'm gonna have a look, okay? Right. And by next time, I'm gonna be ready. And that's it. That's how you incrementally build your knowledge of the system, right? Begin playing really simply, just basic rules. And then each time your player does something, you have something to go back to the book and like build on top of it. They're like brick by brick, you build like this castle of rules knowledge, if you allow me to push the analogy that far, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You don't need to know everything. Know the basics and then learn it one session at a time.
Yeah.
It's a thing I wanted to mention about this whole, you use a rule slide system and you start having to write down these rulings that you've created during the play, which is it's a different form of writing the rule book as you go along,
right?
Instead of having a rule book and falling back on it when you like tap into a new field you haven't explored before. Like, okay, there's a castle. My players actually want to sneak in. How does sneaking work? Like, do I roll for every single guard that's in the area? Do I only roll for the ones that are paying attention or looking in his direction? Or only the patrolling ones? Is he rolling or am I rolling? And if everyone rolls all the time, at some point it's just going to fail and it's going to feel miserable for the players because he rolled 5 times, failed once, gets caught, and gets tossed out or imprisoned. So you just want to be able to look at the rules real quick. How should I handle a heist or sneaking into some place? Are the rules helping me here?
And that's something that Pathfinder excels at. Because you said heist, and I'm already thinking, I think it's in Ultimate Campaign, there are rules for that, right? Ultimate Campaign is one of the best Pathfinder books. It has rules for everything. It has rules for chases, heists, that kind of thing. Are all of those rules good? No. Take what's good and throw away what's bad, you know?
Yep.
I've done, as an example, in Shadowrun, I've done a chase scene where the players they went on a highway to kidnap a truck and steal loot from it. So it was a chase scene on top of a truck with fights. Now, if you ever tried to play out moving vehicles in Shadowrun, the rules are pain in the ass.
It's awful
Movement
because
speed?
vehicles
Yes.
carry momentum and they accelerate at a certain bit. So if you have multiple that are, have different acceleration scores, you're like basically
Absolutely.
playing a computer.
Also attacking each
GM,
other.
how
on
many
different
G's of force are pushing me backwards?
Yeah. But when we just roleplay it, and I tell my players, don't worry about those rules. I got them covered. Roleplay what you would do. What would your character do?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a competent Shadowrunner. Of course, I jump onto the top of the truck and shoot my Uzi to the gangers on the motorcycles, flanking the vehicle.
Yeah, I let rip with the recoil, throwing it up. I feel the wind in my hair. I duck under signs on the road. That's the cool thing. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
But no, I need to do it's 0.25 G's.
Yeah.
So in a span of 6 seconds, you move back 0.3 meters rounded up. So that's 1 meter. What's your rating again? Oh my god, just play the fucking scene, man.
And the cool part is you can take over the truck and start driving it and use the truck to, what do you want to do? Outmaneuver those motor vehicles? Probably not. But you sure as shit can ram them, which is a thing I did with my character. Yeah, I take over this truck. Oh, they're trying to chase us? Well, I have 10 tons moving at high speeds. I'm just ramming them. And the risk at failure is literally total crash, flipping over multiple times. But the success meant I was the coolest fucking rigger in the whole scene.
We have
I
a
GM that.
do we have a moderator putting you on the spot, Nicholas?
No, I generally agree. My only problem with too many rules is that sometimes, yes, we got similar one. We are Brazilian brothers now.
I know. I was like the Brazilians are out competing.
I agree. My only problem is that some
Look at the
writers, they
microphone.
write mechanics in a way that the player has to serve the mechanic and not the mechanic is serving the player. Like the example you gave with the G-force acceleration, the vector of the cars, that is not in favor of the player nor the role play. So that's my problem when I have PTSD when I hear over-engineering games, because I think of that. I think you're designing something that we have to stop to talk about. It's not something that is easily
there
resolved.
are definitely, and Pathfinder is no exception here, sections of crunchy games.
Summoner. Cough.
Yeah, there's the entirety of Occult Adventures, the whole book, basically.
All of it.
I like the haunting rules though. The haunting rules are
those
cool.
are
They give you a
cool,
lot of cool ideas.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though, right?
So-
When you're playing something like Pathfinder, what you buy is not this one tool. You buy a toolbox.
Yeah.
And it's one of those fancy toolboxes that when you open these other platforms fold out, right? And some tools there are very good. And some tools, I mean, maybe your grandpa bought this and
It's like
you can tell that this tool was never used. It's brand new,
Yeah.
But just to reinforce, like I said, I agree with you. I think, especially if I'm buying something, it needs to be complete,
Right.
If you're gonna sell me a whole fantasy world, give me all the tools to run the myriad of possible fantasy scenarios that I could get into, just make sure the rules we can work with them,
Exactly. There are definitely things of some games where you can tell it was probably not intentionally, but the designer kind of going, man, I'm really smart. I have created such a good system here. And it's like,
And
wait, have you considered how it is to play though? I mean,
so this is like a completely different problem. I find fascinating. It's a bit detached from spheres of power, but you have this problem of, like what? Somebody is in charge of the project and he doesn't know about game design. He only knows how to handle people. And the game designer, he is the one writing all of the rules, but nobody is there to check him and be like, those rules fucking suck. They're horrible to roleplay. And it only gets people caught up. And I would say that's if you look at the German role-playing system, the Dark Eye, that's the whole meme of, oh yeah, this is what D&D is like if it's all written by mathematicians. Like the main guy was a mathematician, so everything is just math all the way on how anything works. And it's not making the rule books better, it just makes it super complicated to roleplay because you're juggling all the numbers all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in game dev. This is something that happens a lot in Fallout New Vegas. In game dev, more often than not, the artists are done before the game developers, right? So like the guy, I finished the last the next promotional art piece. Okay, but you're still in the team. Go in and make a map. We need a map for this one dungeon, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to that map and it's like, oh yeah, there's like a rock here. There's like 2 trees. There's like a little container of loot, and that's it. You can tell that this was made by like the art guy, and not by a level developer, like a level designer, right?
Right.
And this is the same thing that happens in some RPG books where it's just good talent, but applied to the wrong field.
Mathematicians, that's a good one.
Mathematicians, yeah. But the math finders will have a word with you. Let me tell you. It's kind of like astronaut versus cosmonaut,
Yeah.
I'm not a wizard. I'm a mathematician,
Yeah, but that's and that's that is a real problem you have to avoid and I think it's something that the 4D space is trying to tackle a lot. It's like the mechanics should always be in service of the role play, which is in service of the players, right? At the end of the day, when the mechanics are just sort of there to be a cool mechanic in a vacuum, it's kind of like there's this I saw this video the other day which was like, how many different odd-sided shapes can you make a caltrop and still have the point standing straight up? And it's like, wow, that's really neat and totally useless. Like, this doesn't help anyone at all for anything, but it's like a cool, why not try to do it sort of thing,
so
right?
What's the practical application of this knowledge that we have here? I think I want to lead into this point about, okay, some people, they really like the math parts, that they want to be able to do 112 damage, or like Pointy had said in a video like 2 years ago or something, that his best experience in a role-playing game is when he was fighting those fire giants that were like 7 times the CR levels of the party, and they killed them all because they were able to use doors to basically block the fire giants and cut them down one by one. Meanwhile, while watching that game that he showcased, there was a thin wall between the party and the fire giants that the fire giants could have busted down if the game master was role-playing.
Yeah.
Now, that's a critique. I don't mean to veer into the critique part. It's more of, okay, if you care about fighting 12 fire giants, which is cool, and beating them, which is cool, the cool part isn't doing the 112 damage per round.
Right.
It's being able to express that at the table for the other player characters to react like, that your character is the coolest shit that they've ever seen. Like when the barbarian jumps in, cleaves down multiple fire giants, the 72 damage to all, every single one of them. I want a cool description to really embody that.
Exactly. Right. I made a video sometime last year on imagine playing a fighting game, but instead of seeing any of the characters, throw a big overhand right into a check hook, it's 8 damage,
kick,
8 damage, 12 impact frames.
Yeah.
Range 2, backdash. Range. Nobody would play them. fighting games are quite similar to RPGs in that they have a lot of mental stack. That's a term we borrowed from fighting games.
Yeah.
They have very complicated mechanics that are oftentimes not easy to remember, or not, the fighting games are even worse because a lot of times they don't explicitly tell you what the mechanics are. You kind of have to just figure it out from
Air
use-
juggling,
it.
combo breaking, right? That kind
The
I
of thing.
use my
only
shield
thing-
parry backdash into a Hadouken
Yeah,
fireball.
Korean. Well, we've got Korean backdash, which was actually a bug in Tekken 3, but the pro players liked the bug enough that they decided to just keep it in the game for the next 20 years. And so, the only thing that keeps people playing fighting games really is the cool animation. Well, we don't have the animation to work with. We have description. So if you don't have the description, there are some cool mechanics out there, right, that I think can salvage the unrole played sessions where it's like, oh, okay, we're sitting here to play kind of a war game, but
Yeah,
it's a shadow of what it could be.
that's the crazy thing. Yeah, exactly. It's a shadow. It's the shadow of what it is, right?
Right.
Because this is still the best computer humanity has ever made, right?
Yes.
Like this right here.
Yeah.
We don't have
That's
anything better
exactly
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
And you're using it to do like 3 points of damage per round, like up to 4 damage, right?
Like,
It's the simplest, most milk toast like tactical game you could ever
Right.
play, right?
and that's
The
the
actually
thing.
cool part of a
Real-
role playing game is to explore a world. You can explore worlds, right? It's insane.
Before we get too far from one point here, you mentioned about as a game designer, I thought of the school mechanic I'm putting in with no regards to how it's going to be played at the table. And Tyler, maybe it's close to what you do, but I remember watching some videos on filmmakers who they thought of like this interesting shot, came to them, and then they work a whole movie backwards so they can make that shot and present it to the world, And I think when it comes to game design, too many people have the auteur mindset of this is my work, I'm gonna exhibit this to the world. So it's really like misplaced zeal, I think.
Have you
for a lot
guys
of books.
ever read the official Dragon Ball RPG from many years ago?
No.
So it's kind of just a shit post. They basically took the theme that, Dragon Ball has this crazy power scaling and really big numbers. And so you literally are rolling like 10,000 D6. And it's like, oh, so this is not playable without a computer, like, which is, fine, I guess. But it's like they took, the theme of Dragon Ball is the big numbers, it's big explosions, so we're going to make the mechanic big. And then they stopped thinking at that part, where it's like, I get where they were going with it, but it doesn't seem like anybody play tested it. And yeah, absolutely. With writing, it can be the same way where we'll, I've edited books that are, single writer and, done first edit passes on them. And you'll get to spots where it's like a paragraph of them just, yapping basically. And you're like, okay, but what does this have to do with the price of beans? Right. It's like, I don't,
Burgers.
Yeah. It's like, what are we talking about right now? And that is one of the advantages of the written language is we get to cut out all of the sidebars and tangents that we get on that don't really have to do anything, right? It's thematic, but is it good? Right?
But the torch goes out in 15 minutes real time, guys. You don't get it. You just don't get it.
Or they're trying to, do things like that where they've come up with one way to solve one problem. And when you do an engineering solving for X, you often forget that Y, Z, A, B, C also exist, right? So
It's so weird. Like, since you brought up the
Especially role-playing
example,
games.
that's a Shadow Dark example, right? The torch goes out after X amount of time, an hour, 50 minutes. I don't know the exact rules, but it uses the same philosophy as, oh yeah, we use 1-to-1 time in our game. So if we miss a week, so we meet up the week after, it means 2 weeks have passed. In which case, the dragon's demand has not been fulfilled, and he's roasting the whole town next time we meet up. It's those rules are not in line with the realities of role playing a game. What you are doing is, okay, the world's moving forward, but it doesn't make the consequences interesting because he robbed me of any agency as a player by forcing this time advancement on me.
You play in real time, I play in real time, but we are not the same, guys.
Yeah.
Because when I say real time, I mean we don't pause the game to ask questions, right? We actually
Yeah.
have rules mastery where you need to know the rules of what
And-
you're doing.
And you're not.
it feels
forced,
like a party
right?
trick is what I wanted to say, like especially the
Yeah,
one with the
yeah.
torch. That's a party trick. Like, oh cool, the torch went out, something exciting is happening. You don't need to wait for the time to run out
Yeah,
for the game to be
exactly.
exciting.
Exactly.
Imagine role playing it out, right? We're all in
Yeah.
a dark dungeon. Someone has died in the last room. And we're
Imagine
all like
if one
huddling
of
around
the-
our last torch. Like it's slowly fizzling out. The cloth dampened with oil at the end ran out, and now it's just burning through the shaft. It's burning my fingers.
Yeah.
It's like that's terrifying.
We
Like
watched
you
a
can hear
couple.
shouts far away.
We watched Dungeon Meshi, like this food anime dungeon. Like they go to the dungeon and they eat a bunch of the monsters. I wanted that halfling in the party be like, guys, we only got one torch left. Like, stop skulking around looking for ingredients. We have to leave this dungeon already. Craft new torches. Like, who is the what's the word? Who is role playing the character that is keeping track of time and resources and doesn't want to get lost alone in the darkness? Nobody. Like that's the answer. Like at those kinds of tables, not to be like ultra judgmental, but that's a cool part to role play. So the party trick isn't gonna help the role playing solve the role playing problem.
Don't worry, I'll be judgmental for you.
Go ahead. Be my
But
guest. Trash
I
the
do-
ball. Call me.
I do want to circle back to the core of the conversation, right? Because I think we reached a very interesting conclusion, if such a thing can be said. We reached a very interesting point in this conversation when Nicholas said that we want to use toolboxes, right? And I think that is exactly what I like most about Spheres. Spheres is, by its own definition, a toolbox. The example in the Ultimate Spheres rulebook is how do you create a magic system that is like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I mean, they don't call it Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, 4 elements kind of deal. And to me, that's really cool because now you're no longer tied to Pathfinder saying, oh, you want to do magic? Here's a hammer. You want to do another setting with magic? Here's another hammer, right? It's all the same hammer. Spheres actually lets you customize and create the magic creation of your own. And to me, that's really cool. That is applying that modular toolbox-esque design philosophy to things in the Pathfinder system that are not like that. That's what I like the most about it, right?
And there are video games that also emulate that in different ways. I'm just trying to think of an example, but they won't come to me. But it's not
I think mods for video games are a good example, like Minecraft, right? You can install mods to Minecraft.
Yeah.
You can customize
Yeah,
it to do what you want. Same for like New Vegas.
I guess it's true. I was more talking about inside the video games of, your character, you just have stat points, but you can spread them however you want. You're not locked into a class, and now you can only pick the class abilities. You can spread them around into wherever you want to create your own unique class to play. I think Guild Wars was an example of that. I've never played that one, so maybe somebody else can chime in, but they exist. And in comparison would be World of Warcraft of you can never be more than a warlock. If you pick the warlock, this is who you are. Your entire identity is defined by the class you pick at level 1.
Or if you allow me to be even more obsessed, the Pathfinder video games, like the settings.
True.
Like you can tune the difficulty of each different thing, right? Like, oh, I want the combat to be hard, but I think it would be cool if the town managing was easy, right? That that kind of thing. But anyway, I think that this is a good preface to the Spheres of Power conundrum, right? And I can tell Nicholas is already half asleep, you know. But it is
Nicholas,
time, guys.
let me out. Let me out.
You are my captive audience for this one, I'm afraid. So I think that the best way for you to explore Pathfinder in systems that you don't know is through someone that knows the system well, especially systems like this where it's very much rich in content, but you can take that content in whichever way you want, right? I think that the best way for me to explain Spheres of Power to you guys is to simply have you guys tell me a character concept, and I will tell you how you do it, right? Let me give you a quick example. I was playing a Arcana Obscure Magica game. Arcana of Steamworks and Magica Obscure, that's the actual title, there we go. Which is a role-playing game by the creators of Fallout, in a very cool setting, right? The setting is like, oh, science is competing against magic. If you have like scientific machines, they block out magic, and magic breaks the laws of physics, so they break like machines. So if you cast a fireball next to a train, the train blows up because, you know, magic destroys physics, basically. You were going to say something, Tyler?
Oh, I was just going to say it's What If Eberron was good.
Oh, that's fire. That's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
It's a very cool setting. It's a very cool game. And I wanted that to represent something in my setting. That is exactly where Spheres of Power helped me. It allowed me to make one of my characters in this game. We homebrewed some basic stuff where he could create like these like steamwork mechs, and they would use like a completely different system, and depending like how magic worked, it would break it. That was really cool. Another example of a character concept that I went with is more of a classic. My character was a dwarf, based on Warhammer, right? He was a slayer, and he had like these tattoos all over his body that depicted his ancestors, and he could like tap the tattoos, and the spirits of his ancestors would come out and fight alongside him. It's like he couldn't cast any spells, but he could conjure the spirits of his dead ancestors, which was really badass, you know.
All right, I have a question to that, because I find this interesting as to, for me, the answer is, okay, John Roleplay is watching this, and he's like, I'm barely interested into Pathfinder. Why should I care about Spheres of Power? So, and I like that we have the modularity, like you build your own hero, build your own class, pretty much your own magic user. And they also have the things for like Spheres of Might, Spheres of Guile, which I assume is, okay, now we have the same systems, but not for magic, for all the other stuff too. So this means you get to play Pathfinder with its crunchy rules, but you can create your own abilities, is that right? Your own style of class without breaking the numbers game?
Pretty much, yeah. The thing is, the best way to explain it to someone that has never played Spheres of Power before is, have you ever tried to play a pyromancer or like a theme caster in D&D? Like, yeah, I'm the pyromancer. I only ever cast fire spells. So I look at like level 1 fire spells. Okay, I got Burning Hands. Hell yeah. I got Scorching Ray. Really cool. Okay, Firebolt, Cantrip. Very cool. Oh, what now? I guess I'm going to pick Mage Armor, right? And I guess I'm going to pick Shield. And
right.
And at the end of it, you're just playing the same like wizard they played 100 times before.
And that's again something
it's the same 5 spells that every wizard picks because they're so fucking useful. While the other ones are super niche and never come out.
Oh, they're making us okay. I'm really interested.
Yeah, that's very cool. I know they did that brief like little update for 5th edition that nobody played, but
nobody played it.
Yeah. IDK, if this is a meaningful difference to y'all, but diesel punk appeals to me over steampunk. I agree. I find a lot of steampunk is not significantly different from just the Industrial Revolution. Like there's a lot of stuff where it's like, oh, it's my crazy wacky steam gun, and it's like, but they just had guns, so why? Diesel punk is.
But my gun shoots steam, though. You don't get it.
Like, but that's
Arcana. You talk about Arcana. To me, Arcana is a good example of steampunk. Like, if you want to do a good setting in steampunk, look at Arcana. Probably the best example there.
Like those
Yeah.
kind of things for me were always aesthetics first,
Right.
and then we try to roleplay that, pretending to be like cool nobles with fancy gadgets, something like that.
Yeah.
I just imagine like Detective Gadget, but steampunk.
Yeah.
Oh, Inspector Gadget. That's fine.
Brown bricks in Pathfinder. Brown bricks in Pathfinder Second Edition.
Huh.
But yeah, that's
Round dwarf.
But what was it? That's a really good point, because something I was going to mention to point crunchy games as well is they tend to have a lot of replayability. Fifth edition, which sits in this kind of annoying medium crunch area, really has that issue of I guess I'm going to play another variant human, because why wouldn't I? Because they're just the best race to play.
It's
not
the
just-
only interesting race.
And
It's the
not
only one that
just
gives you a
that-
choice of a feat.
Yeah, like picking a feat is the interesting choice because you have
Yeah.
building variety.
Yeah.
Like, oh, finally, I have this extra feat which allows me to ignore sharpshooter for once, and I can spend it on cook or something,
Yeah.
something to thematically impress your character that he's
Mm.
different.
Is that a non-human or a human?
The variant human is you play the human, but instead of more stats, you can get an extra feat. Because the normal human gets like
What does that
+1.
represent? Like, what
Normal
does that
human-
represent in the
Nothing.
world?
It doesn't represent fucking anything.
Oh,
The
okay.
feat is people pick what? Like alerts or sharpshooter
or
or
polearm master.
pole arm mastery or
Yeah.
oh, my character can
The-
wear heavy armor. It's like a lot of those feats are very much hierarchical from
Yeah.
absolute complete trash, useless. You would never pick in a
Yeah.
million years to
You always know where north is. A thing
Yeah.
which is achievable
Oh
with
my God.
one gold item that weighs nothing.
Guys.
and then you
There's a
have feats that are
feat
just
that-
super powerful and useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a feat that doubles your damage. Do you want to do double damage or do you want to know where north is, guys?
Exactly.
That's super cool build variety, you know?
Yeah.
And then
And
you're
they
like,
give it to
oh,
the players and be like, yeah, you can build your character however you want. And all the players look at the options and are like, well, I don't want to die, so I guess I cut off my own arm, to become the super powerful one-armed
But-
swords master.
the other thing there, right, is that I play I played a druid, but I played a druid like a year ago. I'm gonna play another druid, right? I was a Circle of the Spores druid, hell yeah, and I'm gonna be a Circle of the Moon druid. And then you look at the Circle of the Moon, it's like half a page. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I get a little bit more health when I'm a bear. Okay.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then it's the same fucking character as your Circle of the Spores druid.
Yep.
And then like in Pathfinder, like I can look at the archetypes. I can apply 3 different archetypes to my druid. Now I can't even turn into a bear. I fight with steel weapons, right? It's a totally different character. They have like these different like rogue talents that you can have to your rogue. Like you can have a party of 5 rogues in Pathfinder, and they're all incredibly different. It's like
You
the
could have a
crazy
party
part.
of 5 people that fight with their fists, and they would all be totally different. It's like, yeah, I want to be a monk, but I don't want any of the like key or a set. It's like, well, you could play a brawler, you could play the unarmed fighter archetype, you could play a martial artist monk, you could play it just keeps going down the line.
And
You
that's
will
the
never
thing,
experience all of Pathfinder.
No,
think
it's so much replayability.
D&D,
It's-
they tried to give you variety, but what just ends up happening is the first few classes are pretty trashy because they have role-playing in mind as part of the feature. And the later classes are a lot more mechanically supported, which makes it interesting to play, but adds a level of power creep to everything. Which now the game master has to balance like old 5e and new 5e, and somehow make the guy that plays the standard barbarian not feel like shit because he
Right.
doesn't hit anything and eats all the damage because he has no armor class. But he only takes half damage. So I guess that's
And
fun. It wasn't fun, guys. It wasn't fun. My wife played a barbarian for 30 episodes. It was not fun.
yeah.
It got worse because now there's
Yeah.
5.5e as well. man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and that's the thing, right? A lot like most of the examples we've been using here have been for martial characters. Have you realized that?
Hmm?
Because for spellcasters, you don't have that much build variety in Pathfinder.
Yeah, your build variety for spellcasters is generally in spell choice, which is something that Pathfinder solves kind of by taking a hammer to the thing and just going, well, there's just like 2,000 spells. And it's like, I guess, yeah, that's one way to solve the problem, but you've introduced kind of a new problem, which
That's
is
the thing of
I don't know what that does.
you
But you
create a
got third
video.
level spells and you didn't get haste.
I mean, that's the part of like, okay, you create a video game. How do you make the world feel alive?
Right.
Well, I created 2,000 quests for you to go on.
Right.
Well,
right.
it doesn't make the world feel alive, but it sure gives me a lot of things to do, I guess.
Right. And they do have a like custom magic, like, well, how do spellcasters create new spells, which is obviously a thing that happens. Nobody really uses it though, and it's kind of clunky to do in
I
game.
never used it. Yeah.
No, it's
I
pretty
try
clunky
to use
do.
it in D&D, and nobody, like no game master ever gives a shit. And
Yeah.
if they do, they want to like put their thumb on it to be like,
Yeah.
can't be too powerful. And they're always
Right.
haggling with you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but now it's exhausting. I was excited, but now it's exhausting. So
Yeah.
I'm not bothering.
Lots of the cool caster stuff is like playing around with your familiar, or trying to see if you can wade into combat as a mage or a spell, like the Eldritch Brawler sorcerer archetype, where you can like grow magical claws and get into a fist fight with somebody. Oh yeah, or like the strategist archetype stuff. So there is cool stuff, but I definitely agree the like getting hands on and getting something that's physically tangible is pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, I sure hope someone made a system would allow you to diversify your casters, right? Oh, spheres of power, right?
Mhm.
And another thing that I love about spheres of power is that by forcing your casters to specialize, it helps a lot with the casters feeling like they fit with the martials.
Mhm.
Because the issue with the wizard in Pathfinder is that the wizard at like 7th level, he has Dimension Door, he has Haste, he has Fireball, he has Lightning Bolt, he has Web, he has like all of these crazy spells that have nothing thematically to do with one another, but they each are a different tool that he can use, right?
They're basically, how do I grab into the mechanics of the game to be as useful as possible? Like manipulate the battlefield and be as impactful as possible as like a combat scenario thing, which is what most people play in Pathfinder D&D style games. I need to be useful in combat because we spend 80% of our sessions there. And when there's room for roleplay, we skip the role-playing scene because some people think it's fluff or useless or,
we hear that. People think they spend 80% of their time in combat, and it's because they aren't active participants during the rest of the game.
Yeah.
They feel like they spend 80% of their time in combat because the other...
Wake me up when we roll initiative. That's
exactly.
I'm here.
It's all of every role-playing game's problem of the GM spends half the session playing dolls with himself and telling you where you move, what you do, how you feel even.
And the good GMs, they try to get you to roleplay, and the players ignore him.
Yeah, and the players are like, okay, let's skip to... My character's not... I only have 7 charisma because we use point buy, and I dumped it.
Can't talk with that guy.
So
Can somebody else talk with him?
Dude, you guys are triggering my deep-seated trauma because I ran like sandbox games before where the players were like, I don't know what we're doing, guys. Like, what do we want us to do? I've had players ask me, like, I'm creating a world. Yeah. Like, you could do what you want, and there is nothing. Your head is just empty.
I've literally had the exact same experience with 5e players because I was trying to get my college group to play something that wasn't 5e. So there was a college club, and I was trying to get somebody to, I was like, maybe we can do like Tuesday nights. We play a different, we try to play a different tabletop RPG that's not 5e, get it out there. And this was years and years ago. So before I had found, any of the 5e stuff online, or 4D stuff online, and well, before it even was there. And I basically set up the like premise. We had a session 0, and it's like, yeah, you guys are, adventuring party, and there's way more jobs that need done than there are people capable of doing the jobs. So that's it. That's the premise. And so there's, multiple people sort of, being like, hey, I need this to get done. I need that to get done. This is happening on the other end of town, and then pause. And literally one of the players is like, I'm confused. What are we supposed to do? I'm like, what do you mean supposed to? Like, whatever you want. You made a character. Like,
it's when the players stop and they look for the exit sign in the world.
Right, yeah. So yeah.
Like, yeah, this RPG is boring, man. Keep smashing spacebar to skip the fucking scene.
You didn't read any of the quests. It's like, who reads quests? I want to reach level 60.
Yeah.
Here, take my hair out. Like,
yeah.
No wonder you're bored of the game. You're not connecting to the world you're playing in.
You're not an active participant. If you're it's like a lot of people are like, man, wrestling is really boring. Like, yes, as a spectator sport, it sucks because you're stuck in one position for like 2 or 3 minutes at a time and nothing is happening. Wrestling is a lot more fun. I think
It is, yeah.
tabletops are a lot the same way, where you watch an MMA fight, and as soon as people get on the ground, there are some crowds that will boo because they don't know what they're looking at, because they're like, oh man, it's just two guys hugging.
Especially the casino ones, right?
Yeah.
Where these guys are just in the casino. Oh, let's have a look at the UFC fight.
It's just two guys hugging on the ground. I would just punch him in the face if I was there. And it's like, well, why don't you just put yourself there?
The 3D fights upstanding is turning into a 2D battle map because they're on the ground,
Right.
The analogies. The analogies write themselves, man. I'm more of a 1D UFC enjoyer. I just stay in the casino rolling the slots as the guys are fighting,
Yeah.
So,
but how?
I want to go. I have like one more
somewhere?
tangent. Like, okay, this is crazy, but as an example, hardcore World of Warcraft popped off in the last few years, and it's not because when you die you lose everything. That was a part of the excitement of challenging yourself. Okay, you've played Pathfinder how many times? Now let's see if you can build the most powerful character ever, or let's see if you can reach level 20 faster. Hardcore World of Warcraft did the thing called your life is on the line, and when your life is on the line, you change your approach to the game, and now players take time to talk to other players in the world, group up, help each other, ask for a buff, Mark of the Wild, like Power Word Fortitude, like get more hit points, get their armor enchanted. Every piece of improvement becomes a mark of the journey and becomes memorable. And even that like first elite level hugger fight, you think, I could die to him. Well, I can always run away, but he is elite level. He could kill me if I'm not careful. And now the world is alive again because there are consequences to your actions. And that's what makes the game memorable and why it's so popular over the last couple years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the damage values, it's the meaning, right? Like that's what I think humans seek. We seek meaning to things, right?
Right.
It's kind of like, you can buy a chair, but if you spend the time to polish the wood and like shape it, like a carpentry hobby, that chair is gonna mean it could be 10 times worse as a chair, but it's gonna mean 10 times more to you than any chair that you bought could ever mean.
And someone brought up a really good thing the other day on the vintage audio forums, where it was like, vinyl on paper, it sounds worse, and you'll have audio nerds that sit in their clean room, their entirely white painted rooms with brand new multi-$1,000 setups that are phenomenal and they're super analytical, and look, the EQ curve is a totally flat line, and
Look at my
and
EQ
yeah,
curve.
yeah, and all of this, and you're like, yeah, but you want to know why this literal piece of plastic that has some grooves in it with a diamond that does this and gets sound off of it sounds better? Because I don't just tap a button and then sit there and there's music happening. It's a ritual. It's a process that I have to
Oh, yeah.
engage in. It makes me a part of the music, even if I'm not being there. Being an active participant in things, I think it's something that's dying in a lot of hobbies, unfortunately. Well, it's trying to come back. It's something that's died in a lot of hobbies and is trying to come back. For years we have had the Sony slop, even to bring up the video game example of, oh, The Last of Us, it's such a good game, and I'm playing it. And I'm like, the game is barely here. It's the half
game?
cutscenes. Like, I'm just sitting here watching.
The shooting is so wonky. You're constantly aiming everywhere. Like, it won't
Yeah.
let you aim down. You can't
Yeah.
improve. You can't get better at the game part.
Yeah, and man, everybody who's never shot a gun outing themselves of like, he's not a trained military guy. It's diegetic. It's to show you that you're bad at shooting. And I'm like, no, man, that's not. I could hand a child a gun for the first time and they would have an easier time hitting a target than that's like.
You can point a pipe forward, guys.
Right.
Last I checked, it's not impossible.
Yeah, digression though, like the amount of, I think there's a wider topic too about like depression and the human condition of like people's hobbies are all passively enjoyed, right? And not like
that's a really interesting point to have reached, right? Because we're talking about a lot of things, but let's bring it back to the Sphere RPGs, right? Where first you need your players need to care about the world for them to want to do something in the world, right? That's the first thing.
Exactly.
The second thing, you want it to be active, right? Because in World of Warcraft, if you're playing like retail today, the game plays itself, right? Like, oh, I follow the quest marker. Oh, okay, there's a quest. Oh, I kill 5 guys. Presses 1 5
It's
times.
even
Okay,
worse.
guys dead.
It's okay. What if we play Pathfinder, but we made like 10 times the amount of rules, and we have no tutorial for the fucking game?
Oh my god! Yeah.
How the fuck am I supposed to read through? Like, I watch a YouTube video, let some guy tear it all down for me and be like, no,
just tell me what ability I'm supposed to pick.
They
Just-
literally put in last year the 1-button rotation, so you can still raid, and you're like 80% effectiveness.
Oh,
And this, literally. So, okay, I'm very good with my discipline priest, and I will play it by myself all the time. But if I play the fucking warrior, I have no clue. Might as well press this one button.
but right. So that's the thing, right? You want it to be first things first, active, and secondly, you want it to actually have meaning. And I think that this is what I believe that the thesis to this is, right? Like, we have the diegesis. Now it's time for the thesis. The thesis is that the best way to do this is the 4D way. Shock, horror, surprise, right? But I believe that the best way for you to do this is have your players help you create the setting so that they're active participants in the setting and the story, right? You don't want to write a story and take your players through it. And secondly, it needs to be their own thing.
I want to grab this part of the players need to be part of creating the setting of like the premise of the game, because what happens if you don't? If you don't, you create passive players because they don't know why they are here playing the game with you. So they will lean back and wait for you to clue them in what they're supposed to do. Is that a good explanation for people out there?
Exactly, right? And I mean, you can be the ugliest person on earth. Your mom will tell you that you're handsome, right? That's because when you create something, you have a shared interest in having that thing be cool. So that's the cheat code. All GMs that are listening, right? Oh my god, this one trick saved my game. The cheat code is, if your players create something in the world, they will care about it because it's theirs. It actually has meaning behind it. You're not just playing through like you're not just playing through like Curse of Strahd. No, this is my town. I helped the GM flesh this town out. My character is born in the low-born district of the town. I care about the baker and the candle maker. I care about this thing that I put in the world. I put my flag down. This is the part of the world that I care about. And this is how you create like a world that the players care about and the world that they want to be active participants in. But you need to get to that point, right, where the players stake their flags down in the world. But so let's get to that with spheres of power, right? Because oh my god, we've had a lot of rants, guys. I'm trying to bring it back.
It's impromptu.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I have a couple things for spheres of power. One idea is recreating Philippe, but in spheres of power. The other one is let Nicholas create a character because he's the passive participant in this talk show.
Yeah, I do want to.
No, I'm
each
just
get
trying to not
character.
like. I have a lot of thoughts, but I don't want to derail. So I'm
No.
making an effort to
Please.
keep myself shut.
But then Zonolar's like, move aside, kid.
Yeah.
Give me the wheel.
There
I
are
don't
no
care.
rails here.
Give me the
There-
wheels, Jesus. Get out of
Aggressive, aggressive role playing and aggressive discussions about role playing as well.
I'm doing the same thing. I was holding myself back from
Me too,
commenting
man.
on this. I was like, no, we're moving on from that. But I will address that maybe in its own video, Neo Cal.
I'm happy to give Nicholas like his own derailment section now. So
Yeah.
get it out of your system.
Yeah, you
Don't
have the
feel
floor,
like-
Nicholas. Let's
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and I like this comment that Neocall put here, where like, yeah, this is also what we find meaning in wargaming, like creating our minis
Yeah.
and painting them.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wargaming is really cool. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah.
I love wargaming. I play 3 war games, not a lot, right? But
Matt-
it is an activity that I enjoy.
Meeting
What I don't like
people-
is when
Many
you
of my
invite
friends
me.
are war gamers. I don't have anything against them.
They
My
gave
best
me the
friend is
W
a
word
wargamer.
pass, okay?
I mean, he plays Tau, but he's not that bad. You know?
Yeah.
Still change
I don't
it.
know about that.
But right.
It's okay. My Tau army is hidden because of the background.
Let's derail my whole mind, man. But let's go ahead and create characters. I want each of you guys to create characters because this is a game I actually want to run one day. Like, can
Be
you afford it?
derailed Nicholas's derailment section,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you did.
I will use my derailment section to re-rail the topic. So that's
Okay.
Adio, it's your Tau player for the great good.
Right.
For the greater
Nicholas, think of that cool character concept that he always wanted to play. That is magic based, right? That you always wanted to play, but the system never allowed you to. Do you ever want to be a necromancer? Like live forever, have armies of skeletons, like whatever you want that is magic based.
I want to have a mage where he uses his bodily functions as a conduit. So he's kind of a living alembic in a way, you know? That's kind
That's
of the
really cool.
vibe. So
What do you
I need to
describe
use my
is-
sweat, my blood. I need to, eat. I need to sleep. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
The cheese
What you
wizard.
described, what you described there is the how of the magic, right? That is what we would call in spheres an arcane tradition. And I'm already thinking of quite a few cool ideas, right? Because you can do draining casting so that you get more tired as you cast. And this is like I think the most common thing in magic is that usually like the caster gets spent as he casts, right?
Yeah.
And I think that works. Another idea that comes is material casting, where you literally need to drain your own blood every morning to be able to cast. And without your own blood, you can't cast, right?
Mhm.
And you begin stacking these like little bricks. So like, okay, I have draining casting, I have material casting. But that is the how of the magic. What does the mage actually achieve?
What do you mean? Like,
Well,
that's the
I use my
spell.
blood to cast, but
Depending.
what do I cast?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I I was looking at the wiki.
I wasn't aware like of the scope.
Yeah,
Go on, Tyler.
I was looking at the wiki and I saw that it was an April Fool's joke because I was like, okay, most of these are like, a like sort of broad spectrum of a thing. Like you have divination, illusion, fate, life. I was like, bear.
Yes,
what's
there
the
is a
bear
bear
school
spear.
of magic? And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, okay. It's all bear puns. It's all
It's all bear puns. Yeah, right to bear arms is one of them.
yeah.
Can you link the whole Spheres of Magic wiki thing for the
Yes.
chat?
And I will link it in the YouTube as well for anyone that is
Yeah.
interested in checking that out. And then I will pop it in.
So
Our
let
own.
me give you an example of what would be cool, Nick. What if like
but I
each
think I
different
thought of
bodily
something.
fluid? Oh yeah, go ahead. I want to hear your idea first.
It's about weakening and decaying. So it's not really like a necromancer in the sense that he's talking and mingling with the dead, but he's making things deteriorate faster. So it can be like making someone weaker, or like making a door age faster, and like so you can just like rip away chunks of rotten wood, you know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm having to spend my blood to make that happen. Or maybe I have every morning I have to separate my plasma from my blood, and I have this little vial of plasma. That's like what I need to use. I don't know, just to make it harder, because I think blood is too easy.
Yeah. So what you said is just a Death Sphere character. So I would pick material casting and specify that the material is my own blood. Then I would pick draining casting, so that I get tired as cast more magic.
Because I'm getting anemic.
And and then you get the Death Sphere. And the Death Sphere, you can pick a thing in it that makes so that you can't. The Death Sphere is where you resurrect the dead, right? But you can pick a special thing in it where like you don't get any of those abilities, but in turn you get more death abilities. And there are quite a few death abilities that are exactly what you want. There's one that I think they're called Death Strikes. There's a strike that makes the enemy literally begin rotting alive, if I recall correctly. So there we go. Your character's already done.
Let's go into the details, because I just look at the wiki page, right? What do you mean with material casting? How do you find that on the wiki?
Right.
Like it's a bit more practical for viewers.
Of course. So
because I can find the Death Sphere. I see the spheres on here.
One of the most important pages in Spheres of Power is the Arcane Tradition page that I'm about to learn.
Okay.
And it is a massive page, let me tell you. Don't be scared by it. There we go, Casting Traditions. I'm going to drop the link.
It's so huge. It looks
It
like
is
12 inches of pages, you know.
Hey,
so
welcome.
The Casting Tradition is the how of the magic. It is how you achieve the effect. It is not like what you're doing at all, right?
Gotcha.
And the way it works is you can just pick a casting tradition, but the really cool thing is like creating your own. If you want, you can create a casting tradition. Is almost exactly like you can recreate events in casting in this, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, you're right. So the way a casting tradition works is you pick drawbacks. And this is what material casting is. Material casting is a drawback. It's like, okay, material casting, I'm going to click here. Okay, what does material casting do? And then you can read what material casting does. I think that usually material casting means that you pay gold like every day to cast your spells. But there's like a second thing, like if you want, you can instead make it like it's a specific item. So this is what I would do. I would pick material casting, and you can only cast if you have vials of your blood. And I'm just going to write down material casting as a drawback. And then the other drawback, I think I said, was draining casting. Yeah, there it is. Using magic saps your life force. So whenever you spend one or more spell points, you are dealt 1 point of non-lethal damage that can't be healed. It's like every time you cast, you're taking non-lethal damage. And it gets to a point that you keep casting, and you get non-lethal up to your HP, and you just pass out. You can literally cast until you pass out. Like for Nicholas's character, I can imagine like veins bursting, like blood flowing down the eyes, and he just collapses on the floor.
Yeah.
So I would write down.
Okay, so that would help to literally using his blood to cast his magic, and if he's really in a rush, that's when you pull out your ritual knife and you go hog wild to pump out all the magic to survive.
Yeah.
To literally bleed out and fall unconscious, because the vials weren't good enough at the moment, depending on the situations. That's an aspect
you can have the moment, like fighting a big guy. You look back at your friends, talk about me every now and then, and it just goes all in for a
Yeah.
final spell to kill everything.
Well, that's the cool thing. For every true drawbacks that you pick, you can pick a boon, which is like it's the pro for the drawbacks cons, And in the boons,
The pro
you
to
can
the
pick,
Conway.
yeah. In the boons, you can go ahead and pick where are the boons here? There's a boon that makes it so that you can overcharge your magic, but like you pass out after casting. So if you really want to go like all out for the casting, you can do something like that, right? Overcharge. You may overcharge your magic, giving yourself great power at the cost of your own strength. Whenever you use a sphere ability, you give true caster level, which Tyler might know is a massive deal, but you become fatigued afterwards.
Okay, this overcharge and this overwhelming power.
Well, if you want to get overwhelming power, you need to pick 2 more drawbacks now. Because remember, you need to pick 2 drawbacks for each boon.
Oh, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So
2-to-1 ratio, yeah.
So that helps with building characters that are not just, I have 4 drawbacks, so that I'm super giga powerful. It's like the harder you go, the more difficult it is to cast your magic because you're juggling all of these drawbacks at the same time.
And these don't stack. One thing in Pathfinder is that bonuses of the same type don't stack, right?
Yeah.
So I can't create my crazy character that gets like 12 caster level at level 1 and it kills everything.
So you're not combining overcharge with overwhelming power at the same time.
Yeah, because if you look at it, they both give competence bonuses to caster level.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like I wasn't reading what they're doing exactly, but I see what you mean.
And by the way, guys, this replaces what would be in normal Pathfinder. This replaces your verbal, somatic, material, and the spell slot system.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that I wasn't clear on that. That makes sense.
Oh, and a lot of people hate arcane spellcasting failure, ASF.
Yeah.
If you don't pick somatic, you can cast without moving your hand, so you can cast and have armor. Why not?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. That's quite nice.
It's that's a thing because it's cool thematically that spellcasters have to be half naked to cast spells. To give to be like, okay, you leave yourself up. You're not like the German word would be saying the Eierling, the Wollmilchsau. It's like you lay the eggs, you have the wool, you're the pig, and you have milk. You literally have everything, right? But you do have this drawback system of, the cooler you want to be, the more drawbacks you add to yourself.
But that's the cool thing. If you pick somatic twice, you get a boon. So now the guy that shows up to battle with robes has a boon over you. He can do like overwhelming power, right? That's the reason why you want to go for something like that. Besides just role-playing it out, right? It's cool to role-play a guy with just robes. Don't get me wrong. If you want to power game this, oh God. If you want to power game this, go Goblin, pick the Storm Sphere, pick Overcharge. You can kill everything at first level. Everything. So you can probably find the build in this.
You heard it here first. If you want a power game, go Goblin.
That's a
full Goblin mode.
Like people are breaking 5th edition, like the most vanilla game out there.
Right.
Breaking it, fucking, what is it called? Like the peasant railgun bullshit.
Oh God.
Fucking, let's just like move this pole arm like down a line of like 20 peasants to instantly attack a giant, some bullshit. Like, there are ways to abuse the rules to do what you want. I have the question of, is this system gonna pull me into a trap of, well, my combination fucking sucks. That's my biggest issue with vanilla Pathfinder. Oh, my character fucking sucks compared to this other guy who's been playing for 4 years and knows his builds and his feats.
So
it will.
It's really hard.
You will know it's not learn. That's the thing, right? Let me answer the question real quick.
Yeah.
Yes. If you create a character that does not have any offensive magic, then your character does not have any offensive magic. It's not like your normal Pathfinder game where you will always at least have a cantrip, right? You can just create a character that is the divination guy. And he can see in through walls, he can see the future, he can look at the past, and they have no offensive powers. And that's cool. because now I can play the Oracle that sticks behind in the fight, but is the most important person in the world because I can see the future, right?
What part of the Pathfinder character sheet is this replacing? Are we still leveling up, gaining HP? Like
Yes.
how much of it is getting
It
torn
just
out and
replaces the spell casting.
It just
component,
replaces the
right?
casting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would still take like the class chassis of a wizard or a sorcerer or whatever.
Yes.
and
There's a
still
thing called
have-
the Sphere Wizard. And it's basically an archetype. It's like, oh, you don't get spells like a wizard, but you get sphere casting.
Cool.
So you would get feats as well and still play around
Yes.
with the feats in Pathfinder.
You would get BAB, it's a normal Pathfinder character, but the magic system is different. In fact, the two are compatible. Like if you do a Gestalt, you can do both spellcasting systems.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay.
I did this from there's ritual feats that allow sphere characters to cast normal spells. And that's super cool, right? Gives you more options. But
cool.
let's continue with the example with Nick, right?
Nicholas'
Nick,
character.
Do you think that those two things are cool for your character? So right now we're at the casting tradition. Have draining magic and material casting and parentheses blood.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to get a boon for those two? And what boon do you think would make most sense for your character, right? Think of one thing that you're good about casting due to having these drawbacks. It can be one from the book and one not from the book.
Let's make it so it's easier to deteriorate inanimate objects. Like so it's
Easier
like
to
double the effect
deteriorate.
for non-living entities.
That's cool.
What would that be? Easier to deteriorate. I think that could be just you get a feat that increases your caster level for that particular ability. Because that is the thing as well. You can get feats for the drawbacks here. Right? So that's your casting tradition. That is how your character casts it, right? And now you write these down, and you need to understand what both these mean, right? Material casting means that I need my blood to cast. If I don't have my blood to cast, then I can't cast. And draining casting means that every time I spend a spell point, I need to roll fortitude, or I'm shaken, then fatigued and exhausted, right? So now look at this. This massive page. And now you just need to remember two things. So like, oh, I need my blood, and I get tired when I cast.
Right.
And there's also, what does material casting mean? The book also says, well, you gotta find out with your game master. It should cost at least 1 silver, but it could also cost 10 gold. Since it's your own blood, it's more like, well, how much of it can you like prepare? Like maybe you can only prepare like 3 vials a day before you start like getting too exhausted with the process, because you need time to metabolize. Even if your character doesn't have the vocabulary for it, you're smart enough to know, like, if I push myself, I'm gonna be like almost a zombie, like a lethargic zombie for 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. Do you see how this fosters you to work this out with your game master? It's a toolbox, right? For you to build the cool game that you like. Now, Nicholas, right? That's the casting tradition. That's the how of the magic. What do you think your character is like, right? Is he like more of a wizard, like seeking arcane knowledge? Is he like just cursed with this power, right? This would be your class, right?
Oh, okay. I think he's more of an alchemist kind of deal.
Ooh, alchemist is interesting.
Yeah, he's running processes. It's not really.
It's not pulling on the arcane ley lines in the air. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weave of fabric.
Maybe it's more ritualistic as well, since he sacrificed a little bit of his life to kill life in a way, to destroy. So something more to that side. It's he systematized a ritual in a simpler way, which is giving his own blood to achieve that.
That's okay. I think that wizard fits best for you. Alchemist means something totally different in Pathfinder. Because you can still like flavor, especially since you're using like vials of blood, right? You can flavor yourself being like the more alchemistic types.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing an alchemist, instead you get Molotov cocktails. Like,
Yeah, you
that's
get
not
bombs.
what the-
Yeah, you get.
What about the occultist? Does that not fit?
I mean, it would work as well.
Yeah, occultist has a lot of baggage. I mentioned earlier that the occult classes are.
I'm
a mess.
looking at, so
Say-
it means that the magic type is psychic. The drawbacks are emotional casting, rigorous
Yeah, that's-
concentration.
Yeah,
Well,
and, that, and
this
that's
is
not-
Oh, is that like a template? Like what we're doing is building by hand, and the occultist is a template?
This is where the sphere's autism meets the waters of the Pathfinder autism. Because now that character concept that Nicholas said can be played in any one of hundreds of classes available in Pathfinder, right? I'm going with Wizard because I think Wizard fits well, especially when it comes to the progression of the character, right? Like you get spells faster, that kind of thing. But there's like a one of millions of classes you can play this concept as, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on how careful you want to be with each part of building your character. Right? So I would go with a wizard, right? And then I would look at a wizard and see how many. The most important thing for a sphere caster is looking at the wizard and seeing how many caster levels he has and how many talents he has, right? Just to make it very simple to Tyler and everyone that knows Pathfinder, your caster level, it's kind of like BEB in this. They stack. So you can multi-class several different classes and they will all be stacking together. Because your caster level is kind of like BEB. It's like your caster bonus.
It's like you
CAB.
get more adept with magic in general, the more different.
Yes.
Like if you're stacking different traditions, or what's the meme? It's like, oh, you go to a university, but if you do all 4 classes in a master's degree, that means you got 4 master's degrees. Like, you know, I don't know. Like this example is falling apart, guys. But
it is, yeah. But so
it counts. They all count.
Okay, so now we got like your casting tradition, we got your class. Like people, we would write this down if we were actually making a character, right? Like, oh, that's my BB, that's all the other things I get. But now we look at the talents, and talents is what you use. It's kind of like the feats in the system. It's what you use to buy each sphere and their abilities, right? So to buy a base sphere costs 1 talent. So I would recommend, of course, you to make your character work, Nicholas. I recommend you buy the death sphere, and there's a thing you can pick. I don't remember where exactly, but you only get Ghost Strike. You don't get Reanimate. So like your character can't create zombies, but you get Ghost Strike. And the first strike already is Exhausting Strike if you open the Death Sphere really quickly. And it gives you the rules to make an attack at someone that just tires them out. But the thing is, each sphere is like a feat tree. So now if I go over to Death Strike talents, I can look at all of the crazy things that I can do with the Death Strike using the Death Sphere. So now I can do something like a Drain, right? You make a spell point to make a Ghost Strike that imposes negative levels on your enemy. So I am literally like rotting them, right? I can imagine your character like using their blood powers to make this man rot. He gets weak and he can't fight back. That's what temporary levels do in Pathfinder. They just can't fight back anymore, And that's the really cool part of it, is that now that is like the one power you have. Now in 4D, what I would say is that you can also co-create a lot about this, right? So like the rules very specifically say that you can use these Ghost Strikes, but you can also just co-create it. Like if it's a minor thing, co-create it, right?
Right.
What I find interesting is like Ghost Strike itself has the example of like summoning negative energy as a melee touch attack or ranged touch attack within medium range. So why is that? Because it sounds to me it's like, okay, you tell me, do you have to touch them, or is it like a ranged attack, like a ghostly hand reaching spectrally for the enemy?
You choose, right? All of the casting here is mechanics only, because the fluff is for you to make, right? Because now it's not like, oh, I'm reading like Zephyr Strike and it says that it's a lightning thing, so I guess I can't beam it to my death
I
character.
can't do it. No, it's like, no, pick your poison. Pick the way you wanna kill your enemies or cast your spells.
And that's how you spend one of your talents, Nicholas. I have like 2 other talents for a level 1 character. And you can keep going deeper into the Death Sphere. You can get more talents to make your Ghost Strike better. You can get a second Ghost Strike type. So now not only can I exhaust a guy, and then I can make a guy weaker, I can now get another Ghost Strike that paralyzes them or stuff like that.
What are we paying with here? Are we talking
Talents.
one sphere per level?
No,
Like,
no, no.
If you're level 2,
the
you get
core currency that you buy spheres with are your talents. And if you look at any class in the sphere system, it tells you how many talents you get per level.
I'm trying to figure out where to look. It's like lots of places.
Let's for simplicity's sake, let's go with the sphere classes. The 2 biggest ones are the Incanter and the Thaumaturge. I'm gonna post the links here. So this is the Incanter class. It tells you very easily like what your caster level is and what your magic talents are, right? So a level 1 Incanter has 1 plus 2 magic talents, and they get a bonus. There we go, 4 talents of a whole. And that's how it works.
Gotcha. Cool deal.
Right, they have the caster level, which is the equivalent of the basic attack bonus.
Exactly.
Rolling the actual dice for casting your magic. The magic talents are the points. It's basically feats, right?
It is, yeah.
Is that right? But instead of feats, it's magic talents for your sphere.
And you can use 1 magic talent to buy the 1 base sphere or to buy 1 talent within the
Oh, so you can mix and match spheres. Okay, cool.
You can get as many spheres as you want, yeah.
I thought the way you would do that would be multi-classing, but no, it's much more elegant than that.
Yeah.
So describe to me, because I'm trying, I think I understand it much better now, but what if I'm the Incanter, I have 3 magic talents, level 1, I pick 3 spheres. How would that look like? And like, what am I gaining? What am I missing out on? If I think of building a character that way.
Open up any sphere. Like, let's open up the protection sphere, right? Okay, protection sphere. Here we go. You are a user of the magics of preservation, and you get Aegis and you get Ward. Aegis is like putting a protective spell around someone. It increases their AC. It gives a deflection bonus to AC. And +1 per caster. Ward is different. Ward is something that you concentrate on. And concentrate is a different mechanic in spheres. I'm not gonna get into the weeds of it. But Ward is like a force field. Like you can keep your hands up, like holding this force field up. And that's it. That's what you get with the protection sphere. That's it.
Gotcha.
You get Aegis and you get Ward. Now, if you want to further specialize into the protection sphere, you can now look at the different talents. It's like there's protection talents, there's Aegis or War talents, there's succor talents, like there's a bunch of talents. Let's say that instead of
succor is its own talent within the sphere. It's not I don't gain it for free. I pay.
Exactly, yeah. You only get the first 2 things there, right?
Yeah.
So now let's say that I want to keep further specialized into protection, and I want to be able to protect people from different elemental spells. There is a protection talent for elements. What is it called again?
Right. Okay. So this is why you have to come up with the concept first. What would be cool for me to do? Then you find out, okay, well, which sphere helps me with that, and do they have cool talents around it?
But I immediately
then you go like digging for the one thing that you want. It's like you go to the library, don't read all the fucking books there. Look it up in their index. Like, I want to read a fantasy story. You go to the fantasy section.
There must be over 100 protection talents, right? Yeah. And each sphere will have hundreds of talents.
Yeah, I immediately knew I wanted creation. I don't know what yet, but I was like, nope, I'm gonna pick this one and narrow it down. That's
creation is so cool, man. Yeah. So I mean, let's make these. So we got through Nicholas's character concept, right? Now is a time where I would like tell him, oh, do you want this talent or that talent? Like, here's another cool idea. You can do, right. And we actually like write these down.
Yeah.
But let's go with Zonal Layer. Like, what character comes to mind? Like anything that you can come up with.
I had a concept that the one that I actually learned Pathfinder with as like a 7th level campaign thing. She is a sylph. I'm naming her Selena. And the whole thing is, well, being a sylph is you are an airhead but you're also magically imbued. So I want to roleplay somebody that is a master of the elements of. It can be a few different things. I'm thinking of an affinity to air itself. That's a given. Like a mastery over the air, so a sphere that helps with that of the element of air. And another thing I was thinking of, like maybe enchantments, and if not, then like leaning into ice or storm thematic casting. One of the two.
There's so much you can do with that. The first thing that comes to mind is the weather sphere, which is, in my opinion, the coolest sphere. You can literally create weather around you.
That's
At
pretty
level
cool.
1, you can if you use your concentration, which is like using your move action every turn, you can sustain air around you. Up to, I think, you can change up to 2 different weather categories. So you can, if there's no wind during the day, you can make it heavy wind. So now everyone that tries to shoot arrows at you gets like a -4. So like immediately.
I'm thinking, okay, what would be level 1? This is me being myself. Like being a self means I am part of air. Like I am the airhead. It's part of my identity. So that's gonna be like the first expression of it, the way I look at it.
That's the cool thing, Zonolar. You don't use resources to sustain this power. You can literally always have wind around you. It's not like, oh, I'm out of spell slots, so I guess I'm not an air elemental anymore. I'm just a guy that attacks.
Yeah,
no,
right.
You can always have wind going around you.
I'm not sure if like maybe my race itself, which that's the Pathfinder end of things. Well, can my character fly or not? I don't know, but I always like the idea of it. So we are using magic that fits the self concept.
Yeah. So I would get the weather sphere and I would focus on changing wind. I would also get the nature sphere. And the nature sphere, when you pick it, you must pick a package. And the package you should pick, of course, is the wind package. So now you can literally do more minute control with the wind. Like, yeah, you can always have a storm around you, like a tornado around you at all times. Oh, not a tornado, you can always have like a dust devils around you, right? But now if you pick the nature sphere with the air package, it gives you like these 3 different abilities. You get breeze, gust of wind, and purify air. Purify air is very simple. The name gives it away. But breeze and gust of wind like allow you to use wind to manipulate people. So you can push people away, you can pull them towards you. It's really cool. So like you would need to read what breeze and gust of wind does, right? You may create a line-shaped gust of wind emanating out from the edge of the geomancing range, which is like the range of your ability. So you can just create a wind wall.
Do I understand I pick one of those geomancing things? Or I get all of them? I pick one.
The nature sphere is different because when you pick nature sphere, you don't gain all of the elements. You pick one of the elements. In this case, air.
Okay. Well, that's cool for people that want to roleplay a druid, but I'm a dwarf druid of the rock, and you just focus on being an earth druid. Everything that has to do with stone and earth and rock and geomancy and all of that.
Yeah, and that's how you get, right? I'm not the guy that, I'm a geomancer, but also have haste on the side. It's a good spell.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, you only get rock. And the cool thing is you can make the rock go crazy. Like if you keep leveling up and you keep investing on your geomancing abilities, you can do crazy things like magnetize everyone's weapons down. Like you just pull it down and you can magnetize everyone's weapons on the floor and they can't fight you with weapons anymore.
It's like the cool
crazy shit like that.
This is the part of Avatar: The Last Airbender that I always thought was amazingly cool.
Yeah.
You get Toph, your stone bender, right? Your earth bender, and she just moves her foot, slaps out a massive pillar from the side that launches the enemy through the air into the other guy, knocks them both out. And it's all just moving the earth.
That's actually kind of what I was looking at. I think the casting tradition I want to do is creation water wizard, because that's what I wanted kineticist from Pathfinder to be. And kineticist in Pathfinder is still kind of cool, but it's almost all combat abilities. Like there's very little utility it's very much no. This is you get to use your water to make ice sword right now. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Can I make it into other shapes? No, it's only a sword. Okay.
The creation sphere is one that I've never delved extensively on, but I know it's insanely good. It's really cool.
That sounds fun. I
the
think that's what I'm
new
gonna
sphere.
do. I'm gonna I like restrictive stuff like that of like I'm already imagining my character like carrying a bucket around to have to have access to water all the time. And
Yeah, you can see here that if you just open the create sphere, you can see that it's one of the more applied ones. Like you need to
it is
read.
very involved. I've been silent because I've been reading a lot on
Yeah.
the side.
I know that creation is really good because you can actually create things that are permanent. So you can actually like I think fabricate is the closest analog to it, right? So you can literally create things and they are real, right? Which is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you might want to go into enhance as well, Tyler, because enhance is a really cool one where it's basically like you can enchant your own weapons. So if you have enhance, you can enchant your weapon to deal cold damage, right?
That'd be kind of interesting. It might be interesting to be like the one like non-full caster or like a 2/3 caster or something that has some like martial aspect where it's like, guys, I don't know, I just do water. If it's not water related, I'm sorry, don't ask me.
Well, and that's the thing. There's the Mage Knight and the Armorist are two sphere classes that are exactly what you want.
Classes. Yeah.
Yeah. The Mage Knight is full BAB and half caster level.
So I also noticed that to add a monkey wrench into things, that Spheres has had an update called Ultimate Spheres of Power, which it defaults to on most of these pages. Is that correct?
Everything you've been looking at, unless you toggled something, everything you've been looking at is Ultimate Spheres.
Okay.
Ultimate Spheres came out after the Martial Spheres, and they made the system better, just better.
Okay. Good. Yeah, good.
Oh, okay.
Not
Conjuration pre-Ultimate Spheres was like insane. You can like just have 17 dudes. Yeah, have 17 guys.
Just as it is a normal Pathfinder. Good to know.
So they had the chance to actually play with the toys and figure out, wait, you're busted.
Yeah. But when I use conjuration, I was just a dwarf that I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Hang on, Grandpa, like a touch of my tattoo. Grandpa, come out. And I talk to my grandpa, like, what do I do? Right? You can just roll with it. You don't need to go for the crazy broken. It was like a thaumaturge build that to have like 17. Oh man, and you can technically have a conjurated creature that has the leadership. That has a guy that conjures. Yeah. Just spiral like, yeah, GM, I have 17,000 PCs right now.
Yeah, where it's like even that's even just if you're a fucking nerd in base Pathfinder, where you can think about it and you're like, wait a minute, so at level 17, my cohort's level 15, and he can take leadership and have a guy that's level 13, and he can take leadership and have a guy that's level 11, and just going.
You get a Russian nesting doll.
It's right? Like, all right, we got all these fucking nerds playing their one character. Maybe that guy's got an animal companion. I'm showing up with the whole town.
Yeah, they're playing Pathfinder. I'm out here playing Total War, man. Yeah. Don't even talk to me.
When I look at this list, there's a lot of. I'm in this library and I see all of these books, and I don't know which one fits, right? And that's a part of somebody needs to have read at least some of the books, and you convene and talk about what would be cool. Let's try to use the incanter. Don't look at all the other classes.
Yeah.
I feel like, Fey Adept, that sounds like fitting for self. And I look at it, it's it's
you see illusion
shadow stuff.
Yeah, it's a shadow/illusion guy. Yeah.
So I think that's the arcane trickster classic archetype.
Some of these are very broad and some of these are very narrow, right? That's the thing. So to get back to zonal art, right? So we talk about the weather sphere, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can do, and we talk about the nature sphere as well, which allows you to control wind around you. We can also talk about the destruction sphere, which I think is everything is something that a sylph would have, right? Where you can use air to attack people, where you can assail them with like powerful winds. And the destruction sphere is one of the coolest spheres because it's the most modular.
Oh, okay.
In destruction, every blast has a shape and an element. So what you can do is I can combine like wall with wind, and I get a wall of wind, or I can get a burst in wind, and I create like a wind fireball that pushes everyone away from its center. It's insanely cool the type of stuff you can do with it. There's even some crazy things that you can do with admixture, where you create the coolest thing you can do, man, in my opinion, is you can admixture it with warp, and I can create a spell where like I teleport into a place, and where I emerge from, a fireball emerges and burns everyone around me.
Oh, that's cool.
This is quite literally Path of Exile spellcast building.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Like, find the combinations that work out and fucking cool, and you lean into the concept to... Well, I also look at the Destruction Blast. It's quite literally, well, the higher level you are, the stronger the spells become, so don't worry about picking the wrong spell that has, like, a stupid damage curve that starts going down later on.
Right.
Like, no, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Like, higher levels just means the spell you're doing becomes more powerful. So,
yeah.
if you fight more powerful monsters, like if instead of fighting goblins, you start fighting giants and dragons, it's not gonna be as strong, but you don't have to play Pathfinder anymore to beat the enemies.
No, because you will always deal your caster level in dice of damage.
Yeah.
That's it, right? It's solved. Like your level is your damage. But the flavor there is in the different ways that you
the blast
flavor
type
and
group
mechanically.
Of like, do I pick cold or air or electric? So because like I like that, like, okay, Sylph, well, when she fights, maybe it's not blasting air, it's like becoming the Ice Queen, like freezing over her enemies. Because it is the whole part of like, okay, I'm thinking, I guess like it got frozen on my mind a little bit. You're playful, you're open, you're active, but when things turn sour or, fight breaks out, it's a cold shoulder. Thinking with puns here. Drowning blast, frost blast, numbing blast. What does the blast types, like we got the air examples here.
In
Destruction,
Destruction,
air blast, hurricane blast. What does that even mean?
In Destruction, every blast has a shape and a type. The shape is the how, right? So a fireball, like a point of burst emanating, would be a
the fire blast,
explosive orb, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the type is the flavor of it, right? So like, is it an air blast? Is it like a sudden like hurricane wind that throws everyone around? Is it a fire that sets people to fire? Is it a lightning orb, right? Like, there's so much cool stuff that you can do with all of this. You can even this is where playing a pyromancer is crazy, because now I can really focus on the destruction sphere and like nature fire, and now I have like all of these different fire abilities. Like I don't have haste as a pyromancer. I have cloak of fire that deals fire around me. I have a fireball. I have a wall of fire, and I can control fire that is ambient in the world. There we go. That's my character, and that's equal to my level. And if I want, even spheres that have nothing to do with your character concept can be made to adapt to your character concept with drawbacks. One of the coolest things that you can do is in the warp sphere, there is an option that you can only teleport using warp if it's something that is to your theme. So I can pick a thing in the warp sphere where I can only teleport to other sources of fire. So like my pyromancer can now teleport to torches. And only like lit fires. Cool. Yeah. Like your sylph character maybe can only teleport when lightning strikes. Like she falls exactly where the lightning fell, in the world.
yeah, those are super cool concepts. I'm a bit lost in the sauce of your example of different fire spells. I like the Scorching Ray one as a classic example because it's not just a fire spell. You're shooting like 3 Scorching Rays. And you can, I mean, the way it's conventionally used, you pick your targets, you shoot 3 of them at the same time, which allows the player like some versatility on who is casting the spells on. How would you do that in this system? A spell that has multiple blasts basically lets you pick and choose.
It's already there. It's a blast salvo.
Blast salvo.
You-
So is
you
that a
deliver-
destruction talent?
Yes, it's a destruction talent and it's a shape talent. So it's like how your power is delivered.
Okay.
Or-
Yeah. It's
I'm
like
I'm trying to find it.
it's like the magic tricks feats in base Pathfinder. I get it.
Blast shape talents. Blast salvo.
Yeah, there's a blast salvo. If you want to the chain blast, which is
Ah.
like the a bit different, it's the ball lightning, where like it goes from one guy to the other. And to the other, to the other.
Yeah.
Or like a chain lightning situation. The
Yeah.
lightning chains the next
Chain
guy.
lightning, yeah.
Oh, chain blast, quite literally. It's right here. Okay.
So you're
mean,
not
that's
just
also
throwing a little
cool.
firebolt, you are shaping the firebolt to do what you want it to do, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, this sounds kind of cool.
I didn't want to play destruction. No, destruction is the boring one. It's just dealing damage. Then I realized no, it's literally the coolest one.
There is a bit of a question of, well, we already established, okay, if I don't pick destruction, is my spellcaster even powerful? Or I guess this system makes it more obvious to the player. Well, you don't have to, but if you avoid it, it means you're useless for combat. Is this desired? Because we are playing Pathfinder, there will always be a monster trying to kill you at some point. Like how long can you play before you just die to the weather changing and you take 96 damage?
Well, that's the thing. You get to decide what is useless. This is a toolbox, remember, right?
That's true.
You get to
Right.
decide what is useless. If your character can't deal damage, is your character useless? Maybe. If you're playing in a game where you're going down a dungeon, then probably, right?
Yeah,
But here's the thing, it's very obvious here. Like, oh, my character
Right.
has no damage dealing abilities, right?
right. That's the thing. Like in Pathfinder, it can be a trap. Oh, I do damage, but he does like 3 times my damage, so I might as well be useless. Right? Like
There-
it's not about that I'm useless. It's everyone else is so much more powerful that I feel useless. Right? The relativity is what kills the joy to some players that try to pick up Pathfinder, just get lost in the sauce and have a trap build. Is what I call it.
Yeah,
I'm
and-
sure that Pathfinder
There are
nerds have a
trap
word
builds
for
here,
that.
Yeah.
but it will be very obvious it's the trap build because you will see that you can't deal any damage.
And I need to make a video on trap builds because they're kind of fake. Like I have literally not had anyone able to construct such a thing. Like I've taught a ton of brand new players that are like, "Oh, I want to do this thing." And I'm like, "Yep, sure."
Yeah.
But when people say trap build, it means I haven't, gone through every Reddit post,
I haven't
optimized it.
hyper optimized, right?
Bro, if you take a prestige class though, then you lose a level of spellcasting. You're getting things a level late, may as well be useless. And it's like, dude, it's fine. Like it's you'll be fine, dude.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Even
like-
when I played that self character at level 7, I had my like my frost gale or something to that nature of, yeah, I can do ice damage. I can shoot like frost what's it called? Like ice spike or something. A low level spell that shoots out ice at the enemy. I didn't feel like, I'm just useless in combat. It's just situational because, well, maybe I fight an enemy, doesn't fucking care that it's cold outside, Like, he might not be bothered too much. But that's fine. That's the drawback of a thematic build of, if that's the kind of character I am, and I see this automaton approaching that doesn't give a shit how cold it is outside, maybe I shouldn't blast my gale of wind at it and agitate the creature.
That's the thing, though, right? If you are a pyromancer and you meet a red dragon, isn't it cool that you're useless there? You know, like doesn't it make
Yes.
sense?
Yeah.
I don't play RPGs to win, and I don't think you should either, right?
That's
If
when
my
you start like,
character is the illusion guy,
yeah.
the illusion sphere will not let you deal any damage. Rather, you can spend all of your talents in the illusion sphere and you deal no damage. But
Like,
it describes how your illusions can be felt. You can hear them. You can make your illusions move. Like each one of these is a talent. So if I have like 5 talents in illusion, I can make an illusion of large size. The illusion can move. The illusion can be heard, felt, touched, smelled. Like if you roleplay that, isn't that super fucking cool? Like I can make an illusion of a dragon and fool everyone.
illusion, it's tricky. This is like outside of spheres of power discussion, but
Mm.
role-playing illusions is tough because when do you reach the point of, oh right, this is an illusion, but my character doesn't know how to
Yeah,
roleplay
yeah.
that, and when do you start rolling the dice of, oh right, I choose to disbelieve, okay, I guess you get to roll the dice now. And
It's a great topic for a wider discussion on obscured information, and I think
yes,
illusions are the kind of thing that work best when the players themselves really aren't sure one way or the other, right? When it's played organically.
yes. And it's difficult because the game master, on one hand, is trying to be a neutral arbiter,
Mhm.
but then again, at many tables, he's taking up a combative role to like defeat the adventuring party. So he might like play the illusions ultra realistic until the players do this one exact thing that will break the illusion. Like, oh yeah, I just gotta pretend all of this is real until the player says, well, I choose to disbelieve. And then they get to roll some stupid shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is that aspect to it. I personally love illusions, and some of the coolest moments in games involve illusions in my mind. But so this
Right.
is just a tiny glimpse, right? Like I'm going over like your character concepts and just translating what they
Yeah.
would be in the spheres system.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it involves this. It involves you like eyeing over like talents that have interesting names to see if they fit your.
I definitely want to like dive into it on my own time and crack something
Yeah.
out. I think it'd be fun.
I'm
Well, I
down
want to
to
run a one shot for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very much interested in, I mean, revisiting the self character is just like the first idea. But I also want to see, like, I don't care much about the magic side. I see, like, you have like a whole martial sphere built too, and spheres of Guile. That sounds very interesting to come up with different character concepts and how to play them out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right now, I'm very happy with the Dwarf Monk since I have a lot of tools at my disposal. And the feat's bloat has been fixed.
Yeah.
Like so far,
I
I
see.
don't see the fucking holes pop up everywhere with
Yes.
in the room.
Yeah. It's such a good yeah. It's like Pathfinder needs just a couple of little changes, and then it becomes so playable. It's very very reasonable.
And the thing is, right? This is the litmus test to see if you like spheres. Like, do
Yeah.
you see all of this autism? Like, oh, that's so cool. I want to make a character this and this and that, right?
Yeah.
Because if the answer is yes, then you might have just been bit by the spheres bug.
The thing,
I don't
the
know
thing
if I've
that's-
no.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I've been bit yet, but I definitely am having the ooh, that's cool. I'll do that. That's also cool. I want to do that, but I can only be in so many bodies at a time. Right? I
Yeah.
do really appreciate. I've been going through. I like that they just fixed Shifter, which is probably the one real trap option in Pathfinder. Like if you play a Shifter and your other friend at the table plays a wild shaped druid, you will just be sitting there going, he gets to turn into a whole bear and cast spells, and I just get claws? This sucks. Why do I suck? Like, why?
Yeah.
The shifter in spheres is insane and really, really cool.
Yeah, looks like it.
The what's the name of the alteration? The alteration sphere is so cool.
Mm.
You can use alteration. Like I've used alteration before. I actually played a weather storm character before, much like your character somewhere, and I can just become a storm elemental using the alteration sphere.
Cool.
You know, my body becomes incorporeal. I become whirling winds. I have a flight speed, and I can toss lightning. Like, I just do this. Like boom, I'm an air elemental. I reduce myself back to my elemental power. You know, or if you want, you can turn yourself into an orb with no limbs, or you can make yourself a pair of wings, or you can grow extra arms.
This solves a problem in, and I say it's also a problem. It might not be a problem for many people, but for me, I see this as solving the problem of co-creating power in a 4D table, where we want to give the players more opportunity to invent something into the scene that is cool to be there as an extra detail. But you know, you don't want to like grab under the table and pull out the shotgun. You want it to feel earned.
Right.
So having a sphere system allows you to create character concepts that feel earned, because the mechanics behind it gives you an appropriate amounts of power of what you should be able to do depending on how good of a caster you are, how deep into the magic you are, you know, like how many years have you spent studying, how much experience have you got traveling the world and all of that. So when you start using those spells, you don't have to co-create them and then like hope that the game master is not gonna be upset at you for like throwing in the monkey wrench.
I mean, yeah, that's a good way to put it, right? Because if you bought these talents, then you're paying the price to be able to use them, right? I feel like there still are some gray areas, right? Like I said, like, well, if you're a sylph and you have nature air, then in my mind, you know, you have a lot of leeway there, you know. What if I want to use wind like it's a mage hand? Technically, it's not in the rules, but you know, like I have fine control of wind. What is stopping me from like controlling wind to like lift up a key and bring it over to me in a cell, you know?
Yeah.
So there are gray zones, but the gray zones are way more well defined than usual, right? Because if I look down at my character sheet, okay, I have Wall of Wind, and I have Breeze as a cantrip. Like, can I use the wind to do X, right?
Mm.
And the gray zone is massive, but in spheres, since it's a lot more thematical, the gray zone is smaller. And the cool thing is, spheres, they added a magic bonus thing. It's kind of like your combat maneuver bonus, but for casting spells. So you can just roll your magic maneuver and say, okay, if you get like this plus, you win, which is the base of a role playing game, right?
Right. So
I think there are rules for you to invent stuff
magic
on the spot. There are rules for you to invent stuff on the spot, and you have to beat like a magic maneuver roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Zolan.
No, I mean, yeah, that pretty much answers that side of having magic its own little skill system. So if there's a gray area and there's, you know, a chance to fail, chance to succeed, you can roll the equivalent of your CMD. I forget the combat maneuver, like your magic maneuver difficulty. Roll your dice and see if you can crack the code.
Yeah, and that's all you want to roleplay. That's all you need. Just roll number, get result. Okay, success, fail. But yeah, I think that's my short over 2 hour presentation on Spheres of Power, guys, and some Pathfinder apologia in the middle as well.
Luckily, we had millions of people watching. Then we converted them all to Spheres of Power now.
D&D 5e is dead, guys.
Yeah.
Colby killed it all by himself.
World peace, finally. All the
His
troops
character
on the
can
field.
do what?
World peace, because everyone is confused about the rules for the ship.
To wrap this all up in like 5 minutes, so that Nicholas doesn't have to be stuck here any longer. Right. No, we love you, Nicholas. I'm throwing jokes.
You've been dragged through Spheres purgatory.
Spheres of dragging, more like. Okay, well, it's. Where am I going with this? the question of like, okay, what system are we playing and why, right? Like I picked Wrath and Glory 440k because I bought the rulebook. It's 2 years, haven't touched it once. Ran it at a convention exactly one time. I want to see, can it roleplay? Can I do stuff with it? Like, and what's the difference to Fantasy Flight games? Was it worth it? Are they doing anything interesting with the meta currency of Wrath and Glory and all of that? So I got a vision in my mind, things I want to explore. Then there are other things of, okay, but like, what do we say? Like tertiary goals. I want it to be a cool YouTube actual play with art that people can enjoy listening to. That's not about talking about rules all the time, like all the other games online. And I want to be able to use like a Stars Without Numbers faction system of the world can move like every allotted amount of time, where different factions in the world do their own thing that will interface with the world. That changes it enough for when we play the next time, the players have something to bite into. Like, oh, the gangs got fucking wiped out. Oh shit, all my contacts are dead. I need to build up new contacts. Or the RBTs has cleaned out the gangs, or the gene stealers are spreading around in the Hive City. And I find like those are all cool things, grabbing from different game systems to put in. And I feel like the cool thing about Spheres of Power is this granularity. That's why I am drawing this Path of Exile example. Okay, what if we build Diablo, but you're not stuck to 8 classes, to like 7 classes anymore. You can build your own class from scratch completely. And instead of like feeling trapped, you just pick one. And like the spheres in Path of Exile itself, which quite literally sphering out, you know, in donut torus shape that crisscrosses everywhere to be more thematic. You explore the tiles next to you first of, okay, I'm take the destruction sphere, and then you explore, do I want to use different skies? Like, do I use wind? But then I spend another one so I can do ice damage too. Like, am I playing like fire and water at the same time? And you can start exploring the options outward without getting, what's the part, like without getting completely lost in all the different rules that are out there, because you just pick the rule that applies to your character. You don't need to care about how the hedge witch works or the symbiont and all of that crap. Don't have to give a shit. You just pick the one for your class.
You just know your king tradition and it's called your class. That's it.
Yeah. And the game master also only has to read yours. Not all of them. Just your character of like, okay, he's like a wind guy, has like wind spells. Let's see if there's like anything that throws in a monkey wrench that I should be aware of. And usually you also say, hey player, is there a monkey wrench that I should be aware of? It would be nice for you to tell me.
Yeah, and that is what we call the weather sphere, because it can go ludicrous.
It's fierce in the corners of your eyes, Nicholas.
Yeah, I was a level 7 goblin with the storm sphere, and I remember it to this day. I could fly, because if I was in high severity wind, I could just fly. So there we go. I just create high severity wind and fly. And whilst in high severity wind, any projectile weapon that is not a siege weapon would just fail. Fire into tornadoes.
So nobody could shoot arrows at you.
I can fly. Yeah, no one can shoot arrows at me. I obstruct sight with mist, so no one can look at me to cast spells. And there's a talent called Wind Tunnel, which not only allows me and my allies to fire through storms, but it also gives them a bonus. Like the wind propels the arrows.
I just toss 1,000 caltrops into your own creative blender and see what comes out.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. You can do some crazy stuff with this, right? But I think the weather sphere is the most broken.
Here are a bunch of shurikens. Have fun. Yeah. That's like straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
No, you can.
But that's the thing, though, right? Talk to your players, right? Like, is this the game you want to play? No, just role play it, man. Because if you want to break it, just break it. Like, make a conjuration guy that makes another conjuration guy, and have like infinite characters level 1. That's what you can do.
Infinite conjuration.
I'm already thinking I'm gonna pick the bear sphere. I'm going to summon my bear troop, and then I'm going to use arm bears, and we're going to have just
There's a
Bring the
cat
goons.
girl.
The goons are all
There's a
bears
cat girl
with
book
guns.
for spheres. There's a category of feat called purring feats, where you get powers after you
Oh.
purr.
Let's give Nicholas last word on this because we need to end this somehow.
Somehow.
It's very cool.
That's good. Thank you
That's
for that. Great
And with that
construction.
note, we're gonna end it.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you for watching. Yeah, second to only the garlic bread cleric. I love things like that are you can be as specific or as broad as you want to be. I really like it on paper. Of course, the biggest downside is doing all the homework. Is that there's the more options you want, the more you're going to have to look through. So I'm excited to dig in and start looking through some of that stuff on my own time. Apologies for my voice being the way it is today. Next week I should not be working nearly so much. So yeah, hopefully have an actual game for you guys next week. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for leaving your comments as usual. It's always appreciated. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about any of the earlier topics we rambled on or on Spheres of Power. All right, let's see you.